Just finishing the coffee up. Be starting here in just a minute, everybody. Let me grab a little ad break here for you. Well, not ad. Good old alchemy, everyone. Good old alchemy. They got a whole bunch of new stuff out, by the way.
Are you tired of the same old BTT? Sit back and relax and lend Alchemy RPG your ear for a moment. Prepare yourselves for an experience like no other. Now in full Technicolor.
Just bucket everything here. We'll be starting here in just a moment. No, we got the alchemy playing here. Let me turn that off. Let's see here. So we have a bunch to go over today. We're going to be talking about all the things I put in chat. Obviously, the new Deathbringer news. A little secret in there. Critical Role walking away from D&D. There's a lot of guessing going on in this one. I don't know how much I am 100%. Of course, the new Shadow Dark news, along with the free products that are coming out for them, are actually out right now. And then we're going to be getting into deep cuts. Blades in the Dark. Blades in the Dark is one of my favorite systems of all time, so stay tuned. About 2-minute countdown. I'll probably start a little sooner. The coffee's just dripping slow. All right, buddy, let's kick this off. Oh no, Windows update. Not today. Hey, everybody. How are we doing today? I was making coffee. This is a little earlier than I normally stream. I know. I got some stuff I got to do later, but I want to make sure I got a show in still today so I can get some recording in. Everything else. How's this music? Are we loud in here? Woo. You're a fan, though. I'll tell you that. It's warm in here today. It's cold outside, but it is warm up here. And uncomfortable warm. So I have been really busy the last couple of weeks. We've been doing a lot of Living ETHUANTIA. For those who don't know, who aren't in our Discord, who watch this later, should be a link down below to join, or you can ping me here. If you don't have a link, can't find it. But we've been doing a lot of Living ETHUANTIA. We have a possible game tonight as well, along with Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to play in ETHUANTIA, you want to learn Dragonbane, that's about. That's it. That's the plug for now. Maybe more later. We have a lot to go over today. A review, some other fun things. I'll put the browser noise on here so you can hear audio. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month, John Harper had mentioned that he was putting out an expansion to Blades in the Dark. And that ended up being something I was looking forward to, which was Deep Cuts. Now, I'm a huge Blades fan. Like, we did a huge campaign when we were on Norse Foundry. I've been running it ever since. I don't even remember how I stepped into Blades. If it was Kelly that introduced me to it, or I was just no, I think, you know what, I think it was John Stephanopoulos that mentioned it, and Stephanopoulos was like, hey dude, you need to check this out, it's narrative driven like you like. So I picked it up. It's a thick book, it's a lot to read, and it's really different. Like, when you're coming from D&D to this game, it's very different. So we're going to be looking over that today. I got a pretty good rundown of what I want to talk about. I have a page set up so we can do little notes that I can put up in community afterwards on YouTube for people. And then we have a couple of fun things to go over today. So I'm a big fan of Dungeon Craft. I like his stuff. I got to briefly meet him with Tim Hitchcock at Gen Con this year. Really nice guy. And he runs the Deathbringer game, and he runs his YouTube channel. You know, let's just start it. Let's see if we're ready. Look at it. It didn't give me the lovely webpage. Never does, everybody. I fight this thing almost every time. So this gentleman has done some amazing things over the years. If you're not familiar with Dungeon Craft, I definitely recommend following it. Does a lot of news and reviews, really short-term stuff. Gentleman, I believe, if memory serves, as a teacher out of New York. But his latest one, not the Edition War, which is entertaining, is this one. And I'm going to mute here, and we're just going to go through this. This is paint tutorial for Deathbringer. I'm going to pick up one of these minis and paint it, I think.
But I'm afraid it would obscure the details.
I'm a big fan.
I just went for simple. My final step is to dry brush the armor yet again.
It's a little
That
quiet.
brush really
Let me
gets
turn it
into
up.
all the crevices and makes them really dark. And by lightening the armor,
So he gives a full
it really
rundown.
makes it pop and stand out.
I'm making this.
And boom, Deathbringer is complete. Front, back. I dry brushed the skirt Victorian brass to make it match with the skull belt and give it a little pop of color. And
It's
there
clean.
is
It looks good.
Deathbringer, and here is Deathbringer with special effects. This model is a joy to paint. Painting armor is a lot of fun because
And he walks through like a whole review of how to paint it.
Armor. It's not smooth like
Right?
most models.
But he mentions at the
Skirt
end here,
Victorian brass
which
to
is
make
why
it
we're
match
here.
with the skull belt and give it a little pop. Deathbringer on the Dungeon Craft Facebook group. I'd love to see him. And if you love Deathbringer, you can get the quick start rules to the Deathbringer TTRPG below and sign up for the Deathbringer mailing list.
Right.
The full version of Deathbringer is coming. I'll see you.
You heard it there. The full version of Deathbringer is coming. I can't wait. This is a very brutal rule piece. And he talks about, and when he's talking about Deathbringer, how he wanted it quick and simple, easy to teach, where, you know, players can die. It's not too easy. And he mentions in another one of his videos a very similar thing. I think it's a telltale sign of what he's looking for. He's ranking the D&D covers here. Or not covers, D&D systems. And then when he gets to, I think, the most beloved for most of us, which is this.
D&D, in my opinion, is the Frank Menser reboot from 1983.
Right.
It's the classic red box with the Larry Elmore Dragon and Warrior.
Which is classic. This is classic.
Distinctive is the teaching module, which opens the basic set. It was a pick-a-path adventure, and you rolled dice, and it taught you how to play, making the game
That was huge.
accessible to everyone.
It was the first time we'd seen a how to play done that way. It kind of was the first step amongst all these other companies have put out how to make a game function and how to run it and the style that the creators wanted you to run. Not that you can't change it, but you know what I'm saying.
I actually talked to Frank about designing this box set back in
These people
January,
walking in
and
the
the question
background.
I asked him was, Frank,
What the fuck
did
is
you
this guy
have to
doing?
kill Alina the cleric? And he
Yes.
said, yes. And I said, why? And he said, I wanted kids to understand
I had this conversation with him
that
as well.
in this game, people, even the good guys, could die.
That's huge. And getting to that, we're going to see him, I think, put out not only Deathbringer, but it's going to be teaching him that there's cost and risk. With that said, his mini is up for sale. So if you are maybe looking to pick up a mini or you want to do something fun, this is out now. And it's in a couple different sizes. There's a 25 mil, and I believe they have it in some large sizes as well, but it's super cheap. So we put this link in here if you want to pick up a Deathbringer mini. This mini reminds me of the old Hero Quest Chaos Warrior that was walking with the axe. To me. So here's your Deathbringer mini. Boop. There you go. I'm excited. I think that's really cool. So that's that. I wanted to kind of touch base on this. One, because it's cool to see someone in the broadcasting space also be making product. I love new product. I love minis. This guy's just dope looking. Skulls. And the fact that he's standing on a whole skull piece across. And my understanding is you can get it with Deathbringer on the base, or not, because there's a thematic base, which is this one, and there's the basic base. So this is the regular base, right? And then the thematic one is this one, which is a lot more resin, all the skulls stuff on it. I like the font work. It just has a Darkest Dungeon vibe to me, or a Dark Souls vibe, which makes me really happy. So we have that. I think that's pretty cool. I wanted to at least touch on base on that. Support if you can. It's like $850 for a basic model. I'm going to pick up the bigger one, I think, to paint live on here, because I've been wanting to do a little more painting. Now that watching paint dry is gone and we're going into the new year, I'm changing some things up. Like these overlays are going to be changing to an overlay set that I think all of us really love, as I bring probably my favorite thing that I produce to the forefront of EFP. More on that later. After the Deathbringer stuff, which is cool, I wanted to talk about the new stuff from probably Shadow Dark is what we're going to go over. This is just the news section. Shadow Dark, it has been cranking out product after the Kickstarter. They put out the new solo rules, which we have looked at here and played a couple solo games as well. If I get a big cry, I'll bring back that game for the solo stuff for our chef and for our Dragoon. I like Shadow Dark. It is in my top 5 right now. It's the ease of use and ease of designing around, and I am doing a lot of design work right now in Shadow Dark as I'm converting a high-end 5e game over to Shadow Dark. And let me tell you what, it's a fuck ton of work. And I mean a fuck ton. Because Shadow Dark only goes from 1 to 10. It only gives you powers on your odd levels. And I had to find a way to kind of fulfill those extra 20 levels of stuff. So I'm making some new forms of play and a new game mode for that, which should be pretty fun. I'm also adding a bunch of other things that I think are a good time to play. I hope it turns out the way I want. It's a little complex, but I'm trying to pile it all down to one sheet of information and then a sheet of tables. With that, let's talk about what Shadow Dark has going on. Kelsey put out a new video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and they have 2 new free adventures that you can get just by signing up for their newsletter. I have noticed that her, Baron, Ben from Questing Beast, and the gentleman we just looked at from Dungeon Craft all seem to be really pimping this signing up for our newsletter. I actually don't have a problem. I think it's great. And I really noticed it started to happen when the gentleman who was designing Into the Bastion Lands really had a newsletter that was picking up. So it's good for them to do it. It's a great way to stay in contact with stuff without blasting you on social media or getting lost in the mix of social media. I'll probably do a newsletter at some point in time on my own. I create enough content and enough ideas to be able to do that and kind of compile. I have to start scheduling a month out for everything. But I might do a newsletter instead. And Kelsey today talks about creating a newsletter and giving us something that I didn't expect. I didn't even know was in the pipeline. I missed this entirely.
Hey everybody, this is Kelsey Dion from the Arcane Library, and today I want to walk you through 2 free Shadow Dark adventures that I just released. You can get these 2 adventures totally for free by joining the official Shadow Dark RPG newsletter at the link below. Okay, so let's get into it.
I already signed up.
This adventure is
See?
one called Raiders of the Hidden Temple. Also, shout out to my pal Baron Derop over at Dungeon Masterpiece for helping me
He's a good dude.
a few ideas back and forth for this adventure. I printed this out as an A5 size booklet, which was how it was designed, but you could also just print it out as a regular full-size page and it'll look just fine. So to give you an overview about this adventure, again, this is for 4th level Shadow Dark characters, and this is a quick temple romp that has 13 rooms in it, so it's meant to be played in really one setting. I think it would take around 2 hours to play through the whole thing for a typical group.
Maybe we'll do that for a solo dark. What do you guys think?
Overview that gives
like
you a brief outline of what's going on here.
Make a note.
Just to summarize it quickly, the characters have arrived at this crumbling temple in the jungles of Talyul, or whatever jungle you want to set it in your game world, after following this dubious treasure map that they got. There's a simple hook here, which is treasure. The players have heard that there is the Chalice of the Blood Queen, an ancient and valuable artifact that is said to be lost inside this temple. And it is, in fact, inside this temple, but the temple is not uninhabited. It currently hosts a cult of snake people called Viperians, who have been guarding the
I love
Chalice
Yanti, so, or Wanti, depending on who
Their
we're
leader,
talking to.
Shanti, is, in addition to being a Viperian, a vampire. She was turned a vampire by the mother vampire who gave her this chalice.
Hold on a minute. If they're a Viperian and they're a vampire, are their fangs longer? How does that work? If you are a snake vampire, do your fangs triple in length? Because humans do in every movie. Do they use them as like swords and daggers and block and parry? I'm very scared for anyone who encounters this creature.
The guard, and
It's
so
not good.
she and her cultists have been guarding it for the last 2 centuries. But
Oh, okay.
of course, over the last 2 centuries, some turmoil has arisen in the ranks of these Viperians.
Yeah, she's got
Up
dagger
a Viperian
fangs.
wizard named Gorgoroth, and he is angry that Shanti, being a vampire, has changed the cult's purpose to guarding the chalice rather than their original purpose, which was worshiping their snake goddess. So he has a faction inside this dungeon that is seeking change, and the characters are sort of walking right into this turmoil.
I don't. This sounds horrible.
Enter Area 1. This is actually the first room of the temple where.
Oh, cool. She's gonna do a little walkthrough.
And there's a pair of doors that are trapped with a riddle. If any of the characters speak reptilian, this is going to be extra helpful for them to decipher the riddle. But in order to get past the doors without getting attacked by them, the characters actually have to slither in on their stomachs like snakes would.
No.
Through those trap doors, the characters are going to come into Area 2, which is the Grand Hall. And it has a big water feature in it, and they're immediately going to hear some noise.
Seeing if I can get
from
the adventure.
Northwest, some yelling, which is actually an imprisoned vampire spawn who Shanti is currently mad at and has trapped inside a room. There's a 10-foot deep pool of water in this room with an offshoot leading into another room. And if the characters look in this water, it has hypnotizing qualities, so they're going to have to make a check in order to avoid hypnotism. But they also have a chance of spotting emeralds that might be scattered on the bottom, depending on how lucky they are.
Well, this is cool. I don't want to go through the whole piece with her because I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but that's cool that they're putting the entire map up for us to check out, give us a walkthrough. I enjoy walkthroughs. I did that for Choice of Life. I'm probably going to do that again for my upcoming adventure that I'm doing. I like the walkthrough. I know the players shouldn't see it, and if they want to spoil it for themselves, it's kind of on them. But really, to me, what it is for is it's there to kind of give the GM a guide to what they're about ready to do. Because without it, you don't get a guide. So for those that are interested here, I'm going to drop this video, and I'll put these links down below in the description as well. This is the Shadow Dark free adventures. It's in the video. There's a link to sign up for the newsletter there. I'm excited for this. I love that Kelsey's putting this out. You can see that I already signed up. I downloaded them over here. I'm gonna look over them over this weekend. And then maybe over the Christmas break, I will run one of her adventures. And we'll do a solo. Maybe we'll go back to our halfling. What do you guys think? We'll go back to our halfling, or maybe we could bring the Cyanite in and do a solo dark as a Cyanite. Ooh. I'm writing that down. I'm almost done with the Cyanite, by the way. I worked on it a lot this week. I'm gonna work on it some more tomorrow. For those who don't know, we started doing a Cyanite last last EFP Live, and I started designing a psionic-based warrior class. And I hit a hurdle, and I really wanted to stop because I wanted to make sure that I had a adventure that was going to, not adventure, a class that was going to harken back to my nostalgia of 2nd edition D&D. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, is getting that up and running. I have a ton going on for that. So anyway, Shadow Dark, super cool. 2 new adventures out. If you're interested in picking it up, you sign up for the newsletter. They send them to you right away. They're Dropbox. I just did it. And you can sign up today. Get a hold of these 2 adventures for yourself and something to play if you're just learning Shadow Dark or you want maybe some solo experience to do. Congrats, Kelsey. Awesome, yet again, making fucking awesome stuff. More awards for you. So let's move on to the next topic here. Next topic, which is the main one for the show. And I think we're going to be in this topic for a bit. Let's talk about Blades in the Dark. I'm going to record a piece afterwards, but we're going to start with me doing the normal thing where I go through it and kind of digest what there is to look at. I have only skimmed through this book. It wasn't given to me. I bought it the day it released. I always have hopes of running Shadow Dark every time I turn around a corner. I really, really do. And every time I turn around a corner, I'm like, is this the day that I'm going to be running some Shadow Dark? Doesn't always happen, but I'm always ready. I'm always ready. So I saw this, I picked it up, I looked over it briefly, just kind of panned through everything to see what was what, how it worked, so on and so on. And I wanted to make sure that I was able to have time to sit down and read it instead of just panning through it. So today is that I have time to pan through it and make sure that it is working and able to be used. So Blades in the Dark, for those who don't know, it is a fail-forward system. I'm a big fan of fail-forward. I feel that fail-forward systems help players realize that when something bad happens, it doesn't actually have to be the end of the world. In a lot of games, when players fail their D20 roll or whatever the fuck roll it is they're making, it's the end of the line for them. It really is. It can't, it stops, it ruins the moment, but bad things happening to a character are the things that make us build character. If you can just do everything, then you wouldn't have a game to play. And I like to hearken this over to Superman. Even Superman, the Man of Steel, has weaknesses. He has kryptonite, he has magic, he has lightnings. These are all things that affect him. And then he has the people he's surrounded by, which always puts him in really bad situations. But just like Superman, your characters usually overcome their problems unless they die. And just like comics, if your character dies, there's almost always a way to bring them back if they are your loved character and you don't want them to go. Talk to your GM. So when a game puts fail-forward mechanics in and rewards you for failing, or make sure that the story can progress, which is what Shadow Dark is amazing at. It makes it so you can keep progressing. So let me pull up something here. And we're gonna go over the new book, read how it works, and all that fun stuff. I'm excited. I really think this will be, I think it's gonna be a good book. All right, I really think this is gonna be a solid book, and I'm excited because I want a book that is giving me more. So, all right, I had to move it over here so I could check some stuff. Yep. Okay. I think this will pull up now. Let's see here. Okay, yep. All right, it all pulled up. All right, so let's go over the John Harper stuff. I want to go over Blades here. So this is John Harper's YouTube page. I'm subscribed on both my known things. John Harper does a lot of stuff involving how to run Blades, how to run other games. He's had numerous actual plays over the years. It came out, I think it was last summer, that a TV show is in the works for Blades in the Dark, which, let me tell you, I'm extremely excited for the idea of a Blades in the Dark show. But I think while I can explain the action economy, I think this piece here that John puts together, setting the scene for doing a actual play, is probably what we should look at. I think this is an amazing point of view on how to handle action roles in the setting. And I want this to be known before we go in looking at the new stuff, because this is like the key, one of the key elements besides clocks that really change up how you play a TTRPG. So let me reset this, and I'll turn it up.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Blades in the Dark tips and
Hi,
tips
John!
video. Today I want to talk about the rhythm of the conversation
That's
in
such a
play and
nerd.
how to bring the action roll in when you want to have a dice roll for something. If you've transitioned to Blades in the Dark from other RPGs, you may be used to a different kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
The GM calls for a roll, and Blades works better when you do it in a slightly different way. So I wanted to share this brief little tip with you to help GMs learn how to do it in Blades. So first, I want to talk about the familiar rhythm that we have done in many other games, where the characters do one task at a time.
I love his cell phone setup for here.
And the rhythm is this very back and forth, simple kind of thing. Like a player says, I want my character to get up on this rooftop.
Yep.
And the GM says, okay, give me a climbing check.
Okay.
So it's one task, one roll, and the GM calls for the roll. Very, very familiar rhythm.
This is how you normally. So what he's talking about right now is you are. I want to get to the top of this roof. Okay, give me a climb check. That is the D20, I'd like to say, mentality. I want to do X. Can my avatar, aka character, do it? Can I make this roll and succeed in what I'm doing or not? That is the normal way of doing it. So climbing, stealth, perception, like they said. So let's give an example of this situation before we move on to the Blades example of this. And this is just to help people understand how you're playing this game. When you sit down to play a normal tabletop game, if we use our halfling chef, for example, who wants to inspire or I shouldn't say inspire, a halfling chef who wants to convince the barbarians not to murder him on the site, and he immediately starts cooking as they're approaching the camp and offers food. You're like, I'm going to offer them food. The GM would say, hey, give me a bluff roll. Let's see if they believe it. Or a persuasion roll, and let's see if they see it. And you make that roll, and then you would play out the scene based on that success or failure. That is not how Blades in the Dark works. This is how Blades works.
If our character is sneaking around on the rooftops to spy on this manor house, they're going to make a climbing roll, and then they say they sneak around, so the GM says, give me a stealth roll, and then they say, I look through the windows and see what's going on inside there, and the GM says, make a perception roll, right? A very familiar rhythm. And if you're used to that rhythm, sometimes if you're running Blades in the Dark, a character might say do a thing, and your instinct kicks in, and you go, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to say, give me a prowl roll, or give me a study roll, or give me. Wait, I'm not supposed to say what action.
No,
and I feel like there should be a roll for this. So what do I say?
And this is a common problem when you're playing games where you're like, I want to do X, or sorry, not in Blades. I want to do X, but I'm not supposed to call for the skill roll. What do I do?
That you've said something to that effect, like, I feel like we should roll for this, but how? Let's see, what action do you want to use? And it seems like you already said it, and there can be that little bit of friction because this task by task rhythm isn't quite suited to how the
Blades is more scene by scene.
So
have it be shorter, long scenes. Is how I describe it.
About it. It's kind of a new rhythm to think about when you're.
I love this
Blades.
chat bubble style.
So in Blades, the action roll covers the whole conflict.
Yep.
It's what the scoundrel's doing and a threat. What a threat is doing.
Correct.
A dangerous obstacle that the scoundrel is contending with, and this roll is kind of doing double duty. It's telling us how the scoundrel's actions turn out, and it's also telling us how the threat manifests. So a good way to think of this is a scoundrel's goal versus this dangerous obstacle, the threat. So when a player says they're doing something, like I get up on a nearby rooftop, it's good to know the goal.
What if he's using PowerPoint for this?
I get up on the rooftop to see what's happening inside the manor house.
Just curious.
Like we have this whole goal now. We know why you're sneaking around. We know why you climbed up there. The goal is like hanging there in the conversation.
Yeah.
And if the player doesn't say their goal, if they just say, I climb up on the roof, and they kind of leave it there, you can prompt them as the GM and say, well, okay, cool, yeah, you're climbing around. What are you trying to do here?
You want more.
You can lay it out and have that goal stated. Then, if you have that instinct to say, make a climbing roll, make a stealth roll, make a perception roll, whatever.
And
if you can replace that instinct when you run blades with the instinct to say the threat instead, that's the rhythm that blades is kind of asking for. So you might say, yeah, you climb up on a drain pipe, you're finding a good spot to spy from. There's a blue coat patrol around here, though. This is a pretty nice neighborhood, you know, they work for the rich and powerful generally. The blue coat patrol might become alerted. How do you want to approach that? How do you want to deal with that?
This is huge. And he says in Blades in the Dark you should do this, but I honestly feel that this style of design works for almost any tabletop, system. Maybe if you're doing a dungeon crawl, that's not the case, because that's the slog. You're trying to murder them off as they're going through. Like, that, maybe not. It should be a skill-based action roll, like the first version he's talking about. But in Blades, he's talking about how you should be setting the scene for the players to respond in a way to handle the whole situation, the whole conflict, the whole threat.
Action in response to my threat. So now you've kind of like rescued that rhythm. You're not telling the player what action to perform and what to roll, but by saying the threat, you're starting the process of saying, let's roll for this. Let's make this a roll. And it leads to the player choosing their action, which is kind of what Blades wants. It wants the players to put their characters into action.
Yep.
And pick and choose kind of how they approach problems.
Exactly.
How they deal with threats, essentially. So the player can reply now by saying an action, just using that verb in a sentence, and providing details, character stuff. Role play is really important, especially for social type threats and situations. So the lurk says, I prowl slowly and carefully, using chimneys as cover, and I have a fine shadow cloak, because I'm a lurk, so that's a special item I have. That's going to help me out here. Other PCs might want to assist at this point, or flashback, or do all the stuff that characters have access to.
There's a lot of things in Blades where you can spend stress to add extra dice and do things. So when he talks about setting the threat and then goes to the action plus details, prowl slowly and carefully using chimneys and cover, have a fine shadow cloak too, which gives a bonus, like he said.
Especially now, because we know the threat. We know it's not the bluecoats might capture you. That would be a different kind of threat that might make the players want to push themselves and do a group action and help. And, it's a more dire threat that's been stated. In this case, they're becoming alerted. Maybe that's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe I don't want to push too hard. Maybe I don't want to burn resources too hard on this.
Exactly.
I'm going to describe what my character is doing in response and pick one of the actions on my sheet. So now the GM has everything they need. You have the player's goal, the threat that's in their way, the details of what they're doing, and now you can set position and effect with all that knowledge, and then the player rolls and resolves the whole thing.
I love this text format. It's so digestible for people.
How
fucking
achieving
God damn it, John.
Is the threat manifesting? Is it both?
He does this shit all the time.
And this helps after the roll too, because you don't now have to create new consequences, or try to invent something appropriate when that 4-5 comes out. I talked about this in a previous video. If you say the threat up front in this flow of conversation,
you already know.
You've set yourself up for success after the roll too, because
he's not talking about something too. So in Blades in the Dark, for clarity, you are only successful, 100% successful, on a 6 or double 6s, which is a crit. A 4 and a 5, and then a 1 through a 3 are different difficulties, or different levels of failing forward. So a 4 to 5, you do it with like a minor consequence. 1 to 3 is usually you don't do it, and there's a major consequence or a minor consequence. But the level of severity of the consequence is based on the setting, the set situation. If you are in a controlled scenario, you can try something else in that 1 through 3. If you're in a risky scenario, something bad usually happens, and you can't really retry without using a different skill or a different approach. And, that kind of thing. So that's that 4 and 5, like where you can do it, but you fail, but something happens. But 1 to 3 in risky and desperate, you don't get to retry, and you're fucked. So again, 6, success. 4 to 5, you succeed with maybe a problem. And then 1 to 3 is you fail, retry if you're in controlled, or something bad or even worse happens if you're in risky or desperate. So he's not talking about that part because he's not going to break down how the game plays. He's assuming you already know.
No, like spotlight moment where everyone looks at you and says, "What's the consequence?" You already said it. We already know.
Yep,
the blue
it's
coat
true.
might be alerted. So yeah, task by task rolls. If you're used to that rhythm, back and forth, 1 task at a time. Think about this Blades in the Dark rhythm, especially that second part where the GM says the threat.
Right.
That's if you can retrain your GM instinct right there when you're running Blades, just try to remember. I don't say give me a climbing roll. I say what the threat is. I don't say give me a stealth roll. I say what the threat is.
Yep.
And that's how the action roll process starts. Not by
Yes.
saying, hey, we should roll for this. Instead, it starts by saying, oh, there's a threat in the way of that goal you just said you're trying to achieve.
That is correct.
So I'll leave us here on this screen as I wrap up.
Quick fucking video from him, man. 8:55.
I've rewritten the Blades core sheets PDFs that I've talked about in the previous video with some of these ideas in them. So if you want to
Nice.
download those, there's a link in the description so you can grab that. This stuff is
How
in
many
there.
people do you think say, I try not to say in the doobly-doo? Because of Matt Coville. I know I do. After I watch like 2 or 3 of his videos, and if I go to record something, I always go like, down to the description? Because I don't want to say doobly-doo.
I've also kind of added a third page
Damn it, man.
with some new threats or compartmentalized by sort of topic to help GMs kind of pick and choose, if it's a social situation.
It's good. He's
or
educating his
violent
audience.
situation or whatever. It'll give you some inspirations for what kind of threats to bring in.
Yeah.
And really train that muscle. I think it's worth spending some time thinking about it, and then in play, just maybe have that new sheet out in front of you so you can look down and see, oh right, yeah, okay, introduce the threat. That's what I got to do. Don't call for a roll yet. Say what the threat is, and then ask them what action they're using in response.
Yeah. I think that's
If
important.
you can do that, I think you'll have a smoother experience bringing the action roll into play at your table. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
So, John is one of my favorite designers, if this isn't obvious. He makes some amazing stuff, and we're about ready to get into what we're here for today, which is talking about the new deep cuts. Blades is a pretty thick book. I have it over there. I'm not going to go grab it right now, but it's a pretty thick book. You guys have seen it around the block if you've watched my channel at all. I love what it is. I love how it's made. I love the fact that he has found a way to bring almost board game mechanics for you to track what you're doing as a GM. The board game mechanics are only there for the players, and I say that because they're organized to the point and they're systematic. That is why I say board game mechanics. I feel like that is a shorter way to explain what it is. But when you get into handling the aftermath of a task, a job, a session, and if you have heat and how you're recovering and all that kind of stuff, that kind of element, it's its own sheet and you're going through the process. Or maybe you're doing it as an entire session, but I adore how he's built this out. With that said, for those who don't know, Forge in the Dark is the Blades in the Dark system. And as a matter of fact, it has an open license. And if you're looking to make games, this is one of the top 3 games that I currently would design things for with an open license. And in no particular order, for me, the best games to build things for under licensing are going to be, I can't believe 2 of these are from Free League, but I would say Shadow Dark, Year Zero engine from Free League, Shadow Dark from Arcane Library, so best licenses. Shadow Dark from Arcane Library, Year Zero engine from Free League, or the Dragonbane engine from Free League, and then Forge in the Dark. Forge in the Dark is also like Apocalypse World, but I enjoy the polish that is put on Forge in the Dark and how many things you can put into it. If you don't know, there's a lot of games that have done it. So like Ironsworn, Starsworn, there's a whole bunch of different companies that have picked that license up and done something with it. So if you're looking to do it, licensing's on his site. John's a great dude. He helped us a lot during us doing the Norse Foundry double episodes of the back-to-back, you know, Tuesday and Wednesdays. So if you're looking for a good system to build things on, that's it. With that said, everybody, let's get into what we're here for. And that is good old deep cuts. So I have not looked through this yet at all. Weird choice to me for the cover out of the gate, though. I will say that. I am surprised by this. Let's see if we got a scroll. We got a page by page. So let's set this up for success here. View. Where are you at? Where are you at? Not read mode, display mode, enable scrolling. Okay, so I'm going to blow this up one more time. Actually, let me get you the full cover first. There's your full cover, okay? Pretty close to the full cover. So, deep cuts, John Harper. This is a setting and systems expansion for Forge in the Dark. Now I'm going to blow up everything here because I want it to where it's easier to read for everybody. Let's get our highlighter ready. We got our orange ready. John's stuff is almost always strictly black and white. The reason I think this is an odd art piece, I am going to get the book, I lied. There was art on the cover for the first one. So if I can get this bitch out without making a mess, I have it on the shelf like a display shelf. There we go. We just blow the fucking dust off. So I have this on display for a display shelf because I use the PDF for almost everything, so I can Control F search. And I wanted to make sure that it stayed safe. So weird choice. I guess it's a downloadable. It's art. It's forging stuff. I love that it's forging the blade, but this is the art for the book, right? It's kind of an odd choice for that. A little different than the normal style. Not bad. I'm not dissing. I'm surprised by it. So let's talk about deep cuts. I don't know exactly what we're getting into here. I did make something, though. A lot of special thanks here. Awesome to good people. Vincent Baker. This guy's a G. He's one of my favorites. Period. Oh, Troy from... That's awesome. Troy wrote over this, too. Good man. Who else on here do I recognize? I'm just curious. Becca Scott, we know. Fred Hicks, great dude from Evil Genius. Or Evil Genius. Evil Hat. I just like seeing I love when people are shouted out for helping things. I have a huge list of people for ETHUANTIA and Breachers, like special thanks for all the people who played. So this is the overview. This is the page that is pretty important, I think. This kind of nails everything that's going to be in this book that we're looking over. My goal here is not to go through all 118 pages in great detail, but to get a general gist of it, highlight what we have, and then record like a good 10-minute update on what's going on. I also, in case it's needed, have a Canva up over here in case I want to put together something fun. And I kind of do. I want people to know what they're getting with this. So I'm going to kind of make like a highlighted section. You know what I'm saying? For what's in the book. And I think that that'll be a nice way to set up the book, set up the review, not the book, the review. So I'm gonna make something here really quick to get myself started, and I'm gonna change this to the other font that I'm using. Let me show you what I don't want to ruin it. I'll show you later because it comes with something that I have planned, everybody. It does. It comes with something I have planned. Let's put this at a 24 font. Let's move this highlights down in case I need it. And yeah, I have some fun announcements for us as we end the show today. Again, this is going to be a shorter show than normal, everyone. I have something else I have to do here afterwards. But I will be around until that time going over this stuff. So highlights. Let's just highlight what's on here. I'm going to read the first page and then we're going to go from there. I also copied this into what I'm working on. Blades in the Dark Deep Cuts is a collection of expanded setting elements, alternative mechanics, and techniques for play following the principles and examples of changing the game, including in the Blades in the Dark. Think about the supplement as an extended Chapter 9. Important to see what Chapter 9 is. I think Chapter 9, if I remember correctly, is all of the additional rules. So, we have 13 innovations. We have 27 new factions. We have over 100 heritages and background options. That is amazing. We have a catalyst. I don't know what the fuck that is. We have a modified advancement system. Revised harm and trauma systems, which are more flexible and impactful in play. I'm interested to see how this is. I made a bunch of home rules for running Blades because I found that the harm and trauma system didn't always work the way I wanted. It didn't put the process of putting the power in the hands of a player. You know what I'm saying? So I found that I really needed to edit that a little bit. Diceless downtime system. System with tweaks to elements like paying off heat. Why? Okay, I'm curious to see this one. I don't know why that would be this way. And a new action system, which overhauls and streamlines the action resolution mechanics to empower players even more and speed up the process. All right, well, there is. This is like a 2.0 almost. So I want to kind of copy some stuff over here that I think is important that is in this book. How do I want to do this? I'm going to put this over here for now and drag it down because then I can write over here and we can do this here and I'll bring it over when it's needed. I need to I have a second camera up here. I should really set up this camera for when I'm looking over here that this camera works. It's just my C920 and I don't use that thing for anything. I have a Logitech HD, or not Logitech, a Face Cam Pro here. And then down here I have a Brio. And I really should take this C920 and use it for like a background shot or something somewhere in the room. Really, I really should. I'm going to be doing some stuff over the Christmas break here, so see what happens. Do we need a feet cam? Do you guys need do you want a feet cam for me? Is that what you want? I have very destroyed, ruined feet from years of athletic shoes and martial arts and boxing. So if you need a foot cam. Is that a desired thing? Do women want men's feet pictures? Anyway. So I want to write over here some of the things that we're getting that are bonuses. I'm going to do this in a bullet point, and then I will show this off later for you all. I just don't want people to see it yet. So what do we get here? What do we get here? We got 13 new innovations. 13 new innovations. We got 27 factions. I'm excited for this. The factions in this game are amazing. 100 heritage and backgrounds. Ooh, why is this? We want this powered to the left. We don't want center justified. 100 heritages and backgrounds. Like this isn't. There we go. What else do we got here? Catalyst. I don't know what this is. What is a catalyst? Introducing a world-shaking event which expands and alters the setting of the game. All dark secrets to explore. Okay, that's something that I do in my game. Whoop, stay. Trying to move this over so that I can read it in front of me instead of fucking fuck. In the words of Drew. Okay. So what else we got here? Catalyst. I'm excited for that. A second section is a collection of 6 systems for the game. These are all modular, and you can use these in one another. So then we have, after that, we have a modular, 6 modular systems. So I'll just put 6 modular systems. And then we're going to do it again. And then we're going to do modified advancement. Right? Then we're going to do harm and trauma. And then we have diceless downtime. That's weird to me. I'm curious to see how that works. And then new action system. All right. So I'm going to I'm not going to put these in bold. I don't think this looks good in bold. Oh, by the way, if anyone has Grammarly, let me tell you what. The new Grammarly update that just puts a bracket next to what you highlight to look at, fucking stupendous. I love Grammarly, especially when I've been drinking too much and I need to check what I write. New and deep cuts. All right. So let's dive into this. Do we have hyperlinks? Let me click this. Do we have any hyperlinks? Bro didn't hyperlink his shit. Harper. Homie. Got 100 and something page book, man. Your last one was hyperlinked, if I remember correctly. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. This is important. This is important. We really need hyperlinks. Oh, homie. No hyperlink drink during the show, everybody. Let me pull up Blades in the Dark. I'm gonna pull up the core book. I wasn't going to. We are now. No drinking today, Kyle. I know. Well, hey, look though. I do have my Senshi, some ramen shirt on, right? We're cooking. I got my foodie hat on. And I got my monster mug. Right? But yes, this is like Oreos and shit all over it. But no hyperlinks. I won't say if there is or is not something in that cup. So let's pull up. Let's pull this up. Hey, also while I'm pulling this up, how you doing, Kyle? Anything new with you, buddy? Hey, correct me if I'm wrong. You are part of the Star Wars troop, correct? 501, 501st? Am I correct in saying that? I feel like that was you, Kyle. Mouse droid, if my brain serves correct. I was going to ask you if you've done anything new lately, man. Let me find our Blades in the Dark book here, everybody. Where are you? I have so many files in here. Yeah, I thought so. God, I'm not... Okay, I'm glad I'm not losing my mind. Have you done anything new? Any new pieces? Add anything new? I always find it entertaining to see what people have made and done for this. I've always... Like, cosplay is one of those things I've always wanted to do heavily, and just time has never fucking permitted it for me. Like, legitimately, time has fucked me over every time I want to do something. There's a Blades in the Dark book. Where's the fucking core book? Maybe I just have another Blades? I do. I just have another Blades because I'm a fucking monster. So this is Blades in the Dark. Is this just the cheat sheets? This is just the sheets. That's not going to work. Let's do this one. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Rideable, like, is it like a mono wheel? Are you riding a mono wheel? Or is it like a full get-up that you sit on and ride? I'm so curious now. Oh, I just realized my boy isn't on. Let's turn it back on. What is it exactly? Dude, you gotta drop me some pictures if you have any. I would love to see it. So if I remember correctly, yeah, this book is hyperlinked. Oh, well, while we're here, let's look at chapter 9. He said chapter 9. Which is chapter 9? Changing the game? Yeah, changing the game. It looks like a regular mouse droid, but you can ride it? But mouse droids are only like this big, right? If you got pics, drop them to me or PM them to me. I'll put them on screen just because I want to see it because it sounds fucking amazing. All right. So his book, the core book, is hyperlinked. If anyone's using the new Adobe and wondering how to page back, it's Control and left, or no, sorry, Alt and the arrow key. Chapter 9, which is change the game. If you click it, this is all the stuff he was talking about in Chapter 9. Let me change this to be scrollable. So you can see it here. Pretty cool. 12 by 22 inches long for the mouse droid. Hold on a minute. My brain is... So 12. Right? So 12 inches wide. So 12 would be from here to here. Okay, from the dice to there. So dice, and then 22 inches. So this is 18. 18. 22. Are mouse droids that big? Are they actually that big? I always assumed they were smaller than that. If I see you, I want to ride on it, man. I want to take some video riding on it. If that is a feasible thing, I would enjoy that greatly. So, all right. Let's go through this. So we wrote down everything that we have here, everything that's an option, what's in it, and so on. We're going to go through what we have. After I kind of do a brief over this, I'm going to do my 10-minute recap along with what I'm making on the left, along with a announcement that is official for EFP. So that'll be at the end of the show here. We still got a little bit of time, though. Movie accurate. No fucking way, Kyle. I had no idea they were 12 by 22. I bet you it makes conventions a lot more fun. Right? Does it ride on carpet well? Because you know how like C2E2, PAX has it in spots. Obviously, most of Gen Con has the carpet. Did you do tires that can handle that ply? So you can ride on the carpet? If so, that's pretty cool. Content. Part 1, innovations, factions, heritage. Okay, this is all the stuff we just talked about. This is one of my favorite iconic logos of all time. I'm a huge fan of these symbolic pieces. Even Riddles made me I have a Blades in the Dark box up there that I adore. I love what they are. Super cool. So innovations. So there's new innovations. What are innovations here? That's my main concern, I think. Why is my highlighter not working? Highlight! Innovations, okay. So we have the arc lighter. Pen-sized gadget powered by a vial of ectoplasm. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's sweet. Mine have multi-surface wheels, indoor and outdoor. Nice. So it handles the carpet pretty well then. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. I'm answering a question for somebody here. Someone's asking about a scheduled living ETHUANTIA thing, so I'm handling that. I have them all in the main post. Let me add this for this gentleman. He's asking when the 21st game is. It is a 1 p.m.er. 1 p.m.er. Sorry, I'm breaking for this. I want to handle this. These shows are live. They're long. I mean, I do other things while we're doing these. The story archive, Blind Shadows. Where do I have them all? He is correct. I should have put this. December dates is what they're all in. You are 100% correct. I need to add it to each one. I have also been looking at doing my own. I want to do my own Jedi cosplay. I have a character I've played a few times that I would love to add. And I think it would be fun. And cosplay as it. I've also wanted to do the gentleman who passed from Ahsoka. I'm super fucking mad we're not getting another Ahsoka. My understanding is it's done, which pisses me off. I can't believe that they canceled the series. Let me... All right, cool, handle. All right. There you go, Logan, if you're watching me. If you're watching me, I answered you, buddy. So, okay, anyway, back to what we were doing. My apologies. So, arc lighter, a pen-sized gadget, power of the vial of ectoplasm inserted into it. So basically, it's a lighter, ecto lighter, zero load. Nice. I love these little pieces. Glimmer, colloquial name for a faceted crystal attachment for an arc lighter, which turns it into a small lamp. Okay, so it's like a universal piece. A percussion slug gun, normally known as a slugger. It's a break action firearm with a short, wide barrel. So this is like a sawed off that you would put in your pocket. Those are illegal in the United States. Don't ever use one for your home protection so that it doesn't hook onto doorways when you pass through in a panic or when you need it to spread more. Don't do that. The Pritchard plasmograph camera, latest invention of the Pritchard company. I love that he's doing company stuff. Man, him and I are thinking very similar for stuff. And then here's the samples. Oh, we got art for them. So you got an arc lighter, the attachment to the arc lighter. So pen. So is this a stunner? Is this a stun gun? Crackling energy useful like, oh, cigarette. So the arcer, and it's a stun gun. So you got lighter, like the arc lighters. Lamp is the glimmer. I love that. And then this is the slugger, sawed off. This, whoops, didn't mean to do that. This should be in ETHUANTIA as well. I need to add this. So Unity era calendar and unification map. New calendars and maps have been issued to citizens across Imperium. So this is like everything changing because the era of Unity. So they've updated probably like districts and shit like that. Cool. YouTube chat and Discord has a pic. Thank you, bud. No way. How do you fucking stand on it? Hold on. I know I said I was going to continue what I'm doing. We're going to look at this instead. This is too good. Can I add this to... Are you fucking kidding? Dude, what in the fuck made you build this? What made you build this? Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. This is stupendous. We're gonna let me do a little shuffling of stuff here, okay? Let me get rid of our PDF. So first off, bravo, my friend. This is amazing. This is the rideable metal mouse droid. Okay? For those who've not seen this, rideable metal mouse droid. Then he decided to send me a video. So I'm gonna drag and drop it in here, and then we're gonna play it on here. Let me rotate this. Let me pause our music. Let me do this, and let me rotate this. Hold on. Let's rotate this. Transform and rotate. 90 degrees clockwise. Dude. Oh my God. Can I put this in here instead? I want to be able to... I'm curious. I can. All right, let me ditch this one. All right, everybody. This is the piece in action. You built a rideable mouse. It's towing shit. When you said rideable mouse droids, man, I was really thinking it was going to be one you stood on and like rode around on. This, from concept to fruition, one of the coolest things I've seen this year. That makes me say, it's all your gear on the back. I just realized it's all your gear. Oh my God, dude, that is amazing. I want to ride it. That fucker cooks. Bravo, man. That's amazing. How long did it take you to build that thing? That's hella cool, dude. Hella cool. Wow. All right. Focus. Got to get through this. I'm on a time crunch. Oh, shit, man. Okay. So, Unity era month calendars. Friend is 200 pounds, 50 pounds, and he also pulls 250 pounds at the same time. Wait, he weighs? So, a friend is 200 lbs, the MS is 50 pounds, and he pulls 250. So, you're telling me this thing pulls between its own weight and that 500 pounds? Am I hearing that right? That's awesome. That's really fucking cool, dude. New, so are these new months? All right, back to deep cuts. Kyle, that's amazing. If I see you at a con, I want to ride. I want to be on the back with like a lightsaber swinging it as you're pulling me through. I've surfed and snowboarded. I'm pretty sure I can ride on the back of a moving object. If not, the fall will be great. Bright Sky, named after the the profusion of electric lights in the Imperial city of Akros. So that's new. Ember Spring, named for Akros legend that says a piece of Akros took over. Akros is the demon people. Woo! It's only about 1,400 to build. Oh God, that's a lot of money to build a moving mouse droid. But hey, man. So you got an e-bike. What else we got? Crucible, named after the Indomitable Spirit. I like these names. Tribute, named after the legend of the gargantuan stone towers that make up Tycheros. Bastion, Tycherosi, that's the demon people, or the shark mouth people usually. Bastion, named after the fabled bastions of Severos. Starfall, named after the fallen stars. Okay, so that's the new calendar month. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is there only 6 months? Electric lights in the Imperial... Oh, weird, okay. Huh. All right. New art. Unity. Yeah. Bolton auto cycle. That's fun. That's fun. This is new rare technology. Auto cycle. A lightning thrower. Sweet, dude. Oh, hold on. I want to copy this. I want to copy this art. I feel like this auto cycle is really dope and deserves a space in the piece that I'm printing. Not printing, making. What else do we got here? We have a monitor sphere. What is this? This is new. A Sparkcraft orb containing a demi-sensorum and an attuned spirit's essence. The orb can see and hear its surroundings and may be questioned about activities it has observed. So you got a recording device, as well as fellow simple instructions, such as raising an alarm when the condition is met. Special attachment, it can produce detailed drawings of an event and faces from its memory. Whoa. Antenna is attached, see page 11. Now hyperlinked. The attune essence may be held at a remote location. Spark runner rig, a full body harness, plasmatic battery, metal clad boots, and connected goggles, which allows the operator to interact with ectoplasmic structures. Okay. Do we have a new car? Okay, John's like kind of bringing the tech level up in general in Blades in the Dark for this. These are all rare. When he says rare, I wonder how hard that means they are to get. I mean, they're not going to be on anyone's sheet, so that's going to make them difficult alone to get. Okay. Restricted technology, the Spectrovox radio, primitive form of an audio wave technology developed by Dunville Industries, initially for the Imperial Navy ships at sea, so this is probably a little bit larger for broadcasting. The monitor spheres, page 10, have appeared across the city, recording surveillance and blaring Imperial propaganda messages promoting the strength of unity. Well, we're getting like... It does look like a three-wheel car. I think that's a mono wheel in the back, like a drum, and then two small tires on the side, I think. It says it's a steam-driven automobile sedan or truck powered by electric boilers, named for their inventor and manufacturer as a Hackney Conveyance Company. These vehicles are not yet mass-produced and cost 20 coin or more, so they haven't yet entered widespread usage. I wish this 20 coin was, like, over here somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that this was there. Private purchase of a Hackney must be done in order. It might be a three-wheel. He doesn't say. I think he kind of left it up to you. This is cool, man. This new technology interacts strangely with the ghost field, sometimes receiving signals from past or future, as well as nearby spirits and echoes. Death Seeker crows become disoriented when they pass by the radio tower. The spirit wardens are not happy about their pilferation across the city. This is crazy. The fact that this is also not portable means your players aren't running with it. Pretty dope. I need new music. Need new music. That one's just too poppy for me. I want this. He's got this dark rock theme that I'm really hoping he puts into like a full playlist. Really dig it. So, repeating coil gun. This is great art. I love this. I like this side shot, grungy. Maybe it was a photo before put together in a more kit bag. I kind of dig this style. I love this grayed out. He's known for using silhouettes in his art. Like, if you go to the main book and we scroll to where the cities are, actually, it might be at the end of this. Yeah, here. He is known for using this grayscale when he draws his cities out. And the side shot, the top down. So he's known for doing this. And then this area you see here, that color style is what you're seeing on these, which I like the consistency between after so many years apart. Repeating coil gun is super cool. Imperial airships. I was wondering when we were going to get full-on airships. So it sounds like the Imperials have taken over the city. Making some notes over here. I like that they did this. So Era of Unity dawns across Imperium. This is like when the bad guys take over in... what the fuck is the name of the video game? Why can't I remember it? Hey, Serving! Welcome! Did you give me some sunglasses? You did, thank you. Oh, I can't remember the name of the game. It'll come to me. Dishonored. When they started taking over Dishonored. So as the era of Unity across the Imperium, the Immortal Empire expands its reach, building new vessels of war to send to every far-flung corner of the Shattered Isles. Imperial airship fleet, which had consisted of only the prototype vessels, Sovereign and Dominion, has grown in force with 16 warships. I love that it's numbered. It makes them feel impactful and important. An escort, thanks to the massive design and construction project. So this is cool. I love this. He has got more details on 14. We'll get there. Boom. Factions. Ooh, what's the... He's doing a little call out in color. Secrets ahead. If you're a player who wants to discover the secret aspects of these factions in play, don't read situations marked with the orange diamond. I like it. Brigade. They have faction clocks. So basically the way clocks work, if you don't know in Blades, there are entire clock systems that you put into play. You've seen me use them in ETHUANTIA if you've watched any of my ETHUANTIA streams, okay? I love the clocks. I feel like they give... They just give you something that you wouldn't have mechanics to do storytelling with. I feel like it really adds to the ability to track what's going on. It adds a reminder for the GM, and then it helps the players. Like, how would I put this in words if I was gonna... Oh, okay. So clocks in the game are huge. They're super important. The way they work is they're a tracking numerous amount of spinning plates that come in like 4, 6, and 8 parts. And every time a success or a failure happens, you check a clock. And as that moves forward, something happens upon completion, or maybe at each segment. Chase scenes use them as segments. Investigations use them to give out information. But they give a GM a way to track giving out information, or moving parts in the background, like if you're playing Grand Theft Auto and there is a pathway that, you know, your NPCs are on all the time. For players, it lets you do things like crafting, taking damage, and so on. It's a really inventive way to track what's going on that originally comes from Apocalypse World. It's just been polished to a shine with Forge in the Dark or Blades in the Dark. That's kind of how I would explain it to people if I had to put it together. I think they're impactful. I think you can put them in any game to be 100% transparent. I have a lot of them that I've used over the years, and there's a bunch of people online who put out clocks. Hold on here. Blades in the Dark clocks. I know like Roll20 has ones that you can actually progress. There's ones that you can download. There's tons. Like if we go back over to the board here, we pull up Chrome, you can see like the plethora of different versions. This is the ones from the book. These are ones that people can track that are wood. Here's an example of how they function. Like this here might be a really good one to look at. You need to scroll back about 12 minutes. You do. You really, really do. So these are clocks, and this person talks about using Blades in the Dark, progress clocks in D&D to drive tension, improving GM tracking. This is their tracking sheet that you can get for it. But this is the part that I want to talk about. When you are using clocks, you can use them in any setting. You just have to decide what fills a segment and what happens when it finishes. The reason you use 4, 6, and 8 is to determine how much time or how many things have to happen, and they push further. If it's non-important or a short time frame, you use 4. Just like a clock is, 4 is less sections. A 6-section clock takes a lot longer to fill because you fill each one of the pies. So as you're using them in games, You want them to track progress of something from crafting to chases or until a bad guy finds your players. Really, that's kind of what it's all about. I like these a lot. I think they're really fucking cool. I really, really do. Put this PDF back up. So, with that said, let's go over the rest of these factions. So we got the Brigade, the Cabbies. They've added faction clocks to each of these. So it's win back public trust after a Coleridge incident. Boom. It takes 12 sections to do that. The turf is fire stations in every district. This is the Brigade. Leader is disciplined, hardened, judgmental. You have an idea of who you're playing. What happened 12 minutes ago? What happened 12 minutes ago is I watched the drivable mouse droid that Kyle had built. It's not a luggage cart. It's a fucking mouse droid, Nick. He cosplays for the 501st, and that is a rideable mouse droid from Star Wars. Oh my God is correct. Super fucking cool, man. Here's the... I already closed it. Yeah, it's in the video if you rewind back. So, assets, quirks, allies, enemies. So they have all that. The cabbies. So each one of these are going to have a faction clock that you can use, which is really cool. Covenant. And then he's got these secret area ones, these situations that are marked in orange. So right here, they talk about important things. I'm going to scroll by them. That's one of those airships. Ooh. He's did some really high-end kit bashing for these images. It is one of the few vids without you wearing a helmet, Kyle. That is 100% true. I like this art. A little sci-fi noir feel to it. He really kind of kit bashed these together from buildings and stuff. Really cool looking. More factions. So we're going to scroll past the factions. And then we have this. This is the foundation. So this pushes past Duskfall. Duskfall is the city you play in. And you usually are just kind of in this section. Right? So like if we go back to here and we scroll up to the world map. This is the core book for people who are wondering what I'm scrolling through right now. Let me see if I can find the map here. Here. So this is the core map. Actually, I think this is turned to 90 degrees though. It is. This is turned. This is the problem I had with this originally. Let me grab something here, everybody. I think he did it to fit it in the book. But when you turn things like this, it causes problems. Blades. Let me pull up the cheat sheets because I know the cheat sheets have it in it. Let's go to a view, scroll. Because I think I'm going to mention this in the 10-minute recap. Enable scrolling. Okay. So these are all your classes. If you've never played Blades, this is all the equivalent to a class. I'm going to scroll through them quickly because I just want the map. All right, here we go. See how it's vertical just to fit it? But this is how it actually is. So when we look at this and we look at this, here's the land, right, that goes down and through. This is the capital piece that comes up right here. I think that's the same as this one. Here. Boom. Boom. Right? Over here is really nothing besides 2. And 2 is the Lost District. Once wealthy area ravaged by plague, then abandoned to the Deathlands. When the second rail barrier was built, contains many lost treasures for foolhardy people to seek out. And this is like outside of the energy barrier along this wall. These dots you see around is this electro wall that covers the area to be safe. Okay? So this is the section of that land, and then these are all the new Unity sections that they're adding onto for growth. Really fucking cool. Good job, John, expanding this, right? So now you got the Imperial military, the Ink Rakes. Ooh, Inklings. I love this. They're journalists and publishers. Great fucking name. Inspectors, Iron Hook Prison, one of my favorite places. There's a private situation here, or secret situation. Ironworks Laborer. This guy inspired so much of how I designed my information that I gave out in ETHUANTIA. I adore the organization for this book. Because you can have just this piece pulled up and run the game and be successful. You know what I mean? What is showing over here? Did I fuck something up? Hold on a minute. Oh, it's my other window. My other window. I realized that I had this centered. My PDF window does not hover the same amount as my window. There we go. Now, because I don't want things showing in the background for my other thing. So anyway, OBS bullshit. So rail jacks. These are the lightning rails. They're super cool. I've never seen one portrayed before. How do they travel through space? Ghost rails. What the fuck is this? How in the fuck does that work? Wow. That's fucking awesome. Because they're going through ghost areas. They have to have it so they don't fucking die outright. Rowan House, more information. Spark runners. What are that's new. Steal and sabotage Imperial technology. These people are like after them. Awesome. Permission and special ability. Oh! So these are like added bonuses. So Spark runners are free-running scientists and revolutionaries. Former Sparkrites Observation Tower HQ near Charter Hall University, the Rooftops District. They have NPCs. 512, an Unchained Hall, skilled, steadfast innovation. Those numbers, if I remember correctly, that's a person. Assets, quarks, allies, enemies are Bluecoats and Sparkrites. And then situation, and then they have permission and special abilities. When you gain +2 faction status with Spark Runners, you may purchase your own Spark Runner rig from the faction for 4 coin. And added to your character's list item is a double box Spark Running rig, which means 2 of your free items take that. To successfully operate the Spark Runner rig, you must acquire the Veteran Special Ability, Spark Runner. When you operate a charged Spark Runner rig, you can see and strongly interact with electroplasmatic structures in the ghost field to apparently run on air by leaping and skating on invisible spectral surfaces as if they were solid. When you activate your rig, roll Tinker, and on a 1 to 3, the device malfunctions, according to your highest die result. Short circuit, the rig operates for only a minute, then shorts out and must be repaired before use again. Drain, after use, you must refuel the rig with ectoplasmic, 1 coin worth. Loud, the device produces a very loud humming noise and as well thunderous booms around you. Look at these Spark Runners. Your fucking Lightning Jack. Your Spring Heel Jack. That's honestly amazing. Hey, that thing is 12 inches by 22 inches serving hands. That mouse droid, it is technically only this wide. And lengthwise, it's about that long. Just as a heads up. in case it sparked your imagination. I love these new items. Strangers, Tanglefoot, Unchained characters. Ooh, what is this? Unchained, a group of halls who have no master. So halls are soulless bodies, kind of. They're machines. Your function is now self-assigned rather than given to you by a master until you restore your spirit to its former human qualities. You may only change your functions during downtime. This requires a hull modification equipment, but does not use downtime activity. If you ever restore your spirit, you no longer have functions. Work with your GM to create a new XP trigger appropriate for you when you become. So hulls are these. They're autonomous, man. They're fucking autonomous. I will never, ever, ever stop feeding your droid addiction. That is not the person I am. How dare you think so? Right here, more droids for you. You can play a hull in Blades in the Dark. It's like I planned that. I didn't. I didn't plan it, but it feels like I planned it. So what else we got here? Unity Commission, Void Divers. Cool. Man, very similar to what we do. It's our Bleak Knots. God, we are on the same page. It even looks the same. John, homie, you and I are on the same page for design right now. Our Bleak Knots are very similar to this, but they use Soul Essence to light them. Very fucking similar. I see you, John. I see you. I see you in parallel design. I see you. Good man. It looks awesome. There's a philosophy or a theory that two designers designing the same thing happens. Like there's a parallel design style, a theory of it. I'm trying to remember what the fucking it's called. Nick, do you remember? What's the terminology? It's not parallel thinking. There's an actual term for it. Two people are designing the same thing but don't know it. Brilliant minds think alike is all I ever remember. Yeah, it's not multiple discovery. There's a term for it. Oh, it can drive me nuts. Simultaneous invention. Multiple discovery. There's another term for it. Someone can find it, put it in chat. There's a concept of that. It is a term. Never have talked. I'm gonna try one more look. Independent invention and simultaneous invention. Convergent creativity. That's the one. Parallel thinking and convergent creativity. Convergent creativity. Both individuals reach similar conclusions of design because they're working with similar constraints and influences. Convergent creativity is what I was thinking of. But anyway, I fucking love this. I want this for up here. I want this to put and replace with Lilith so I can take them on and off. This is a great piece. John, can I get this as a display? John, if you're seeing this, I love this piece. Can we make it a display? Just saying. I'm gonna put that out in tag. Here's all the new pieces that are marked and what's changed, which is cool. The Underworld Turf. Yeah, Convergent Evolution or Convergent Creativity. Yep. Tasing things in the dark. And then, so this is big. New heritages. I really love this. Your character heritage describes where the family line is from. In play, use the details of your character heritage to improve their position and effect. So basically, the concept is your heritage and your background help you make you better at what you're doing, and you can shift your position or effect when applicable. Position, if I remember the term position right, If we go back to our cheat sheets here, position is the controlled, risky, desperate, if I remember sufficiently. Also, can we just talk about this? If you're a game creator, these 2 pages for whatever fucking game or setting you're making, you should make. It's a 1 sheet for action rolls, fortune, resistance, flashbacks, how they function, for your procedures, how character creation works, vices, names are all on one thing, and then it goes into your character sheets. These are genius level design pieces. I think they help educate not only the players, but the GM on what they're doing. I really, really love these. But here it talks about how a GM sets the position of a role. See here? And the position of the role is your controlled, risky, desperate. If we scroll over to the action section here, if we go down, let me just scroll back out here. If we go through all of these, there's another sheet after, I believe, there, where it has your cheat sheet for players to cheat and set alongside them. Here it is. So here's your big sheet. This is your positions that you are in, right? And this is the controlled, risky, desperate. And they talk about in here, heritages allow you to change position effect when applicable and call on relatives and countrymen when you gather information or make an engagement roll for a score. For any region, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can be a Deathlander. This is cool that they added these. There's Deathlander, Exile, Nomad, Outlaw, Refugee, whoops, too much, Refugee, and Stranger. These are in the game as the anyone can get them. Attune, Hunt, Prowl, those are telling you what you're kind of good at. Your family lived outside the protective measures of people in your homeland used to defend against the horrors of the Deathlands. You've endured terrible hardships, encountered strange places and creatures, and faced possession more than once. So this is just a sample of like different things you can get for any regions. And then they have specific regions. If you're from Akros, if this matters if you're in Duskval, or if you're elsewhere in Akros, which is a different area of the lands. If we scroll up here, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is kind of explaining the different sections. And then the world map will tell you where Akros is and all that, but that's the land they're from. And I think they're doing this for every character. And there's 100 of these. So they got the Dagger Isles. All these are explained in the main book. My favorite, Aruvia. I love the Aruvian masks and stuff. This is one of my favorite things. I love this style. I love the print that's on here. Just a great set piece. I printed all these out when I was running a lot of Blades and made cards to show people when he did art like this. Scovelin. I don't know where this is, but fuck that nonsense. Great art. Again, kit bashed art piece. Photo manipulation. I say kit bash, but photo manipulation. Severos is another area. Different things you do. Spirit Hunters. Ooh. And Thorn Devils? The fuck is that? Your family lived in the hidden bastion of the Deathlands near the Imperial settlement at Thorn, where a large naval installation operates. The Imperial captains there are notorious for issuing false warrants in order to capture entire Severosi clans and press them into forced service. Your people work as resistance fighters, striking against the Imperial press gang and freeing prisoners to find safe haven in your bastion. That's awesome. Tycherosi, which is my favorite, or Tycheros. These are the ones that have like demon and creepy style look to them. Easily my favorite heritage in the game. Kelly and I have played these numerous times. Whole bunch of different ones. Confessors, Demon Scholars. But the cool one here is this Void Gate Sentries. Your family works in the Imperial Ministry and Preservation, safeguarding ancient Void Gates that allow travel to and from Tycheros as the oldest and most far-flung gate in the Shattered Isles. It requires constant maintenance and arcane adjustments to keep it from malfunctioning, lest it open a portal to the darker realms beyond the world. Another great helm. Then we got backgrounds. The character's background describes experience before they're joined, the new and committed into the way of life. Play of use. So what is this? Your backgrounds can improve position and effect. Effect is after you make your roll. The effect is how well you did. And that you can also do that if it makes sense. You can adjust it. And call to former contracts when you gather information, engage roll. I will say, this section here, when you are GMing this game, you have to make sure to tell your players that they can't dip into their background and heritage for every goddamn thing. It has to make sense for the story. Because as a player in this game, part of your job, I'm going to raise up, I'm sitting really low. Part of your job as a player is to help make the story. And you can't help make the story if you're trying to make every single thing you do part of your background and part of your heritage. It just takes time. It's a learning experience for everyone involved. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it is something you have to do, and it is something you got to get used to. It's pretty fucking cool. So anyway, back into it. The spider, academic. This is another one. This is cool. So basically, for those who want to know how this works, cover. You may also consider a new twist on your background choice a cover. If you choose this background as a cover identity, that means that you're still maintaining your old life and responsibilities as a cover for criminal operations for your crew. Remember, this is Ocean 11, a lot of criminal activity. Having a cover story is fucking awesome. And this comes to that clock idea. What's up, Raven? How you doing, buddy? The clock idea is you are getting an 8-part clock, and with that 8-part clock, you have cover is blown. And that cover is blown means your fucking cover shot, you can't use it anymore, right? And tick it one or more times when someone is suspicious of your double life, or when you've been absent for a long time. You also, when you take heat, you can deflect it onto your cover identity by ticking the clock 1 for 1. So giving you a way for long-term play without ruining your story. You can just push it to your cover like a spy's cover being blown. This is a fucking phenomenal addition to this game. This might be my favorite thing added so far. Like, legitimately, the idea of the heritage cover. I love this. I'm gonna make a little note here. My favorite additions. Easily one of my favorite additions. Like, legitimately. It's just too good. I did realize that for some reason this has changed. Did I fuck it up? Can I select all in here? Thank you. This should be hero and regular. Hero is another font that I've been playing with. It's very similar to Nodo. I like it a lot, though. It's the one I was using for a different situation. So let's just make sure they're all hero regular. And then we will bold the pieces that we need to. I will show you what I'm doing here in a little bit. I just don't want you to know yet. So I love this cover story piece. I think this is a great addition to the idea of Blades. We have downtime activity. The spider playbook begins with a fine cover identity. This is cool as an item. Spider is a playbook or a class, basically. Academic, these are things you can do for academic backgrounds. Law and militia, there's a lot of this in the game. Great cover story, too. Law and militia, while you be pressed to do your job, you can do a lot with it. We have labor. What else do we do? Noble. And then they break them all down. Man, this is such a great... Just kind of looking through what's optional here. Under labor. Railjack. I love they had a railjack. Minor. And do any of these have... There's ones where Leviathan, you basically go through and you mine Leviathans. Is that this? You mine oil from them. See if we see any Leviathan workers. Trade. Great breakdown. This needs to be hyperlinked. That's probably my one thing it's missing is the hyperlink. Underworld. Pretty cool. Clean. Clean. Ooh. The person falling out of the sky. I'm going to mark this just so when I scroll through it in the live, in my recording. Great set piece yet again. That guy's dead. And then, so this is the new thing. This is the catalyst. The other living world. What is this? Huh. Ooh. How many of you... So... so earlier I talked about how Blades in the Dark was getting a TV series. Or it's in the works right now to get a TV series. And when you have a TV series, you got to have that little extra for why you would watch it. And I think... in deep cuts, this new catalyst might be it. Catalyst, the other living world, the ghost field touches another living world, a world which comes into contact with the Shattered Isles, where the field wears thin. Ironically, the thinnest part are where lightning barriers have been operated the longest. I'm wondering if this is going to be the setup for the TV series. What do you guys think? I think it is. I think that's fucking cool. And I use a veil in mine. Again, parallel thinking. I don't think it's a new concept. I just think it's something we all enjoy. So, where the original barriers in the Charter Hall have run uninterrupted for centuries, maintained by the Sparkrites, students in order to practice their craft, the Immortal Emperor has used the sorceries to see into this world, witnessing its nation's armies and machines of war, and believes it a threat to his supreme authority. New artillery, cannons, war halls, battleships, experimental airships are being constructed as fast as possible to be sent to every location that the Emperor's cabal of mystics have divined to be the most vulnerable incursions. Fracture. So that's like why the Imperial Army is everywhere right now. That's a really fun set piece. Fractures. A fracture is a lightly charged breach through the ghost field that temporarily connects the Shattered Isles and another living world, allowing people and objects to cross over. What's up, Star Drew? How you doing? Welcome. Going over deep cuts right now for Blades in the Dark. I'm going to pour some more coffee here in my lovely Monster Chef mug. A little bit of an off-topic conversation here before we get into real deep cut here. I want to talk about something fun that's going on right now. So I've obviously been doing a lot of game design lately, and I love it. I love sharing game design with people. And there are a few things that are going to be changing coming up in January, which we're going to talk about at the end of the show. But there are some things that I wanted to say are going to be coming back officially, and not replacing things, but taking more of an important front piece. We're going to be going back to doing a lot more corpse talk, but it's going to be in a different format. We're still going to do the final and do the handout for all the things that are here. That's happening. But I want to bring it back in a bigger variety. I'm a big fan of it. And then we are going to see Living ETHUANTIA carry on. This season is going to last through, I think, April is the game plan. And then I'm going to be putting out zines regularly. I've been doing a lot of work in Affinity, InDesign, and Canva. And I have found for these short zines, I can produce them in Canva faster than any other program. Like, I have deep dove into what can I do? And I'm telling you what, man, with just a little bit of work on my end, I can add a lot of custom pieces into Canva and just blow shit up. We will build more dungeons. Yes. And there's an announcement coming up with that at the end of the show as well. So expect some of that stuff going on. But what I wanted to talk about that is related to that, because I've been doing so much work on the side piece, I'll probably do a breakdown of this, but I picked up a tiny plotter for all the stuff I do when I'm traveling, because this thing fits in my pocket. Look how small this thing is. And I added a lot of things to it. But I'm going to show this quickly. Maybe I'll do a breakdown if people are interested. So I did this because when I travel, I want something to throw in my hoodie because it's cold here most of the time, or in my jeans, or in my sling. But it's very simple. And it's got a zipper pouch here. Is this upside down? It might be upside down. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not fucking doing this wrong. It's upside down. We're going to go this way. So this piece is in it. I'm going to flip it over the back. But it's got the zipper pouch. It's got a guide piece that this can actually pull out of the rings. And then these sheets here, I've been doing something similar for years. But the way this works is it opens up. And you have books of the paper that goes in here. Right? You have books of the paper that goes in here. And you add them. And they're just little pieces of paper that are terrible and usable. But what you can see if I zoom in here, you have the name and pieces you put on here, right? And then on the inside, if I flip this open and flip this back, you also have the ability to track what you're doing here. And these are just paper, but it's such a genius level of quick organization. So I'm using this for my idea design. You got it. I have just a blank section for just pages to use. And then I got a couple more of these so I can divide up what I'm doing. But this one is different. This is for quick map and design work when I'm out and about. Because normally, I carry this. But the problem with organizing things to me, when you're, and don't get me wrong, this isn't going anywhere. I still fucking adore these. When you are using a journal like this, right? What is on the cover of this? Kara's Pen Custom. When you have all this stuff and you have these in here, when you get into the sketch section, I can't move this stuff around. Oh, you can see, oh, this is in here. This is early on this side. These are early designs for the True Faith. For the symbol on this side. So that's the hand and the different versions that I was working on. But everyone asked what the hand looks like. That's the hand. The hands of the True Faith. I forgot this was in here. And that being said, I can't tear these out and organize them, right? I can bookmark them and go through them. But in this one, for example, in this page here, if I open this up, they make this paper, and this paper is different. Let me flip this. This paper unfolds into larger drawable dot grid paper, right? So I'm going to be using this for my general travel design. So I have a lot of travel coming up again here. And then I have 3 of these sections. And then at the back, this piece that you see that I'm pulling on is a divider that goes in. This has a few things on it. It has like unit measurement and millimeters and things like that. It has a conversion chart on the back. But I'll be honest, it's almost impossible to read this or to make this any value to me. And then another zipper piece in the back. But this piece that sticks out is to go over the whole thing. So, I got this because I've been in a lot of design meetings lately for a bunch of stuff. And I have some bigger projects that are possibly coming up here in the future. And I needed something to take with me when I travel. So, anyway, we have some stuff. I'll give you the full corpse talk thing coming up after the show. I will say, if people are interested in doing... Living ETHUANTIA, you 100% should be doing Living ETHUANTIA to where you're showing up, you can play once a month, you can play once a week, whatever you want, but make sure you sign up the night before. Max late time is 11:59. Max. Anything before that is going to be too much time for me to there's too short of a time frame for me to get you set up. We have 2 coming up this month if you want to play, or this week if you want to play. We have tomorrow at 6 p.m. and then we have one on Saturday at 1 p.m. And then I moved the one from Tuesday to Sunday as well. So if you're looking to get into Living ETHUANTIA, there are pre-gen characters. It is Dragonbane using ETHUANTIA, and you can do whatever you want to set yourself up to come play. You can either make your own character and ping me if you want, or you can make your own character, or you can play a pre-gen. But we've already done a bunch of them already, and they've been a blast. I enjoy doing it. So if you're interested in joining, let me know. You can hit up our Discord if you're not in there already. For those who are watching this afterwards, down below, there should be a link to Discord that's still active. If not, it'll go up with the community post on YouTube here later this afternoon. So back to what we're here to do. Let's finish up scrolling through this. We're halfway through the book here. I have a hard cutoff here at 4:35 my time. Like, that's the time frame I'm looking at. So this is the fractured thing that he's added. I do believe this is going to be for TV. I think that's why he added this. I think the catalyst, Other Living World, is going to be for that. There's no reason for it to be anything but this. What are the strangers? Are these people who are coming through? Are these aliens? Is this guy been John, have you been watching too much Netflix over the last 2 years? Is this all strange alien shit now? Is that what's going on? So, strangers are visitors from the other living world, mostly the victims of unexpected fractures rather than intentional incursions. Only a few are in Duskfall. With the exception of the Rowan house, again, no hyperlink. Damn it. Recently, a group of strangers arrived through a fracture over the port, which is explained by the authorities as a routine lightning barrier test. You know, like drones over Jersey. No one knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows why. Except for probably the people who are doing it. One of the strangers drowned in the harbor. So these are the strangers that are pulling out a dock worker. This allows you to include maybe your own thing. I'm kind of curious if he gives the other world a name. Or if it's just going to be the same. There's also the Vanished. In addition to arrival of strangers from the world, people have also began disappearing from Duskfall into other places, giving you this dual fractured mentality of things that you can use. That's fucking cool. This allows you to do some wild stuff, man. Like, if you wanted to add modern times, then you could, if that's what the TV series is going to be, and people from modern times getting pulled in. Or if it's just another part of the same world, but nobody fucking knows it is, that could be something very cool as well. Characters, what else do we have here? Major characters. Ooh, okay. Let me check something here. Nope, I don't have a note on that. All right, I'm going to add something here. I want to add... I guess I can show you this all now. I've been making notes in my Canva doc that I've moved. I was on this screen, but I'll move over here so you guys can see it really quick. I want you to check out what I'm doing. So this is my setup for Canva. Do the colors look familiar to anyone? Do these colors look like maybe I've used them in the past? Maybe? Oh, how did it know that I wanted a clock? Did you guys see that? It popped up one of my clocks. Huh. Hold on. How did it know that? Did it know blades and clocks? I don't know if anyone noticed a little flicker of... I'm curious. How did it know that I had that? I don't know. Wow. All right, anyway. That was a little weird. It put one of the clocks in. I don't know how it do that. But I don't know if this colors and these fonts look familiar, but these are the Corpse Talk colors and fonts. So I'm going to be doing a lot of the notes after the shows or during the shows to keep them in the flavor of Corpse Talk in this style. The reason I want to do this is there's a lot of colors that are involved with Corpse Talk that I can use. So I have a nice branding thing set up here. I think that Corpse Talk was one of my favorite things that I've done. I love the colors so much, and I want to continue using them. But I don't want to just make Mork Borg stuff. So I think any of the splat pieces that you see me make during these shows are going to be using this theme, unless it's something I'm going to do for publishing and I want it to be closer to, for example, the style that I did for our Psy Warrior. But these are my notes for the show, so I can kind of talk about what's here and what I'm looking at. I'll be adding them in. These are obviously, this is just Goth Ipsum that is here. So I'm going to be using this kind of regularly for stuff, and I have a bunch of different colors that I can add in and use. Below you can see, like, this is the Goth Ipsum, the Goth Cyanite style that I was doing. This is for specifically publishing my brand kit or style guide for Blades, or not Blades, for Shadow Dark. This is going to be kind of for everything else. So anyway, I just wanted to show that was here and what I'm doing with it. So we got major characters. Now that I've moved it over, I'm going to type this in here. I think cover's cool. We have the Fraction. What was it called? Was it Fraction? Let's scroll up here. Actually, no, I have it here. It is called the Bold Catalyst. Catalyst. This is, I think this is a great new way to add your own flare. Is flare like you wear like too many pieces of flare, F-L-A-I-R or F-L-A-R-E? Am I crazy? Is it something else? Hold on here. Too much flare. It's F-L-A-I-R. Okay, I had it right. Your own flare. I was like, I think it's A-I-R. I'm pretty sure. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to italicize this as well. Does this have italics? There's no italics for this font. There's no italics for this font. If you do not give me italics, you do not get to get used. Ever. Ever. We're done professionally. We're done. We're done. So, do I want Noto Sans regular bold? I thought Noto Sans had more weight. Is there like a regular Noto? Is this the main one? Nick, if you're here, which is the Noto Sans that's regular for all of them? Is it the Osage? Is that all of them? I feel like it is. Let's find out. Bold. Nope. It's not that one either. Well, I'm just gonna fucking change this because I don't want those to be that way. Oh, come on. I don't need this. I know you guys can't see this, I apologize, but I need to be able to change this stuff easier and make sure that I'm not fucking myself over when I go to do editing later. I think it's just Noto Serif. That's the Serif. Let me see so you guys can see this. I apologize. Let me change this. Noto Serif. Noto Serial Display. Serif Display. That's horrible. I don't like the Serif Display at all. Noto Sans. We're going to go with Noto Sans. Done. Anyway, let me rebold this. We know that there's a catalyst. Cool. We know that they have flare. Cool. I think this is a great way to add your own stuff. I definitely want to talk about that during the talk. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to move this down. I'm going to copy this, paste it, bring it over. Like so. I want it to be at the top of that. And this is going to be new. I say best editions. I want to talk about the best editions. I think this is something that I like to have in here. I like the Hangover. That looks good. That looks good. Best editions is good. All right. So let's go back to what we were looking at here for the best editions. So I do think that the characters, these look like people who are getting added over the new add-on, which is the Strangers, the Fractures, the other Living World stuff. We should probably talk about Catalyst, Own Flare, using Fractures, Strangers, and Vanished. And we can kind of hit up those ideas on what they are exactly. I think that's cool. I think they did add some really cool stuff with that. Maybe I'm going to do Ampersand. I'm a big fan of those. And then that'll add that better. And then we got Vanished. So what else do we have here? We have the new characters for it. I'm not going to mention that other than in scrolling through. Major Renown, Imperial, Special Investigator, Black Coat. Oh, they're called Black Coats. Oh, that's neat. I didn't know they were called Black Coats. Blue Coats are the Bobbies in Blades of the Dark. Sergeant, Director, Inspector. Then we got our factions. So these are all ones that have been in there. I think Ink Rakes is newer. We have the nature of the other world. This is what we're looking for. What is the other world? What is the other world? I knew it. I knew it. That's right. The Catalyst provides the means to play a character from a different world. Time and place if you want to. Perhaps they're an occultist or an arcane investigator from early industrial era Earth who discovered a way to investigate fractures or somehow crossed over through the ghost field. A little bit of Fringe feeling, but like older. Or the other world can be a completely different time period or something wholly of the GM's invention. Maybe based on another role-playing game, book, film, or what you love. I knew this is what this was going to be. The important thing is you can create a concept of the other world that suits your group. There's no canonical versions. Here are some possibilities to get you started. 1890s to 1920s Earth, strangely similar to Duskfall. Yes, yeah, a little bit of the old loop time pole, but different world. Yes, yes. You got your sliders, you have your Quantum Leap, you have your Fringe, you have all the Cthulhu stories. You could do a creepy mirror universe. You could also do a demonic world. Time travelers. A world beyond the void. Man, I could see this being really cool for when they go to do the TV series, being able to hook people in from other major series on whatever network it ends up on. It would have to be written masterfully. Like, I don't think they should tell you the character that they're playing. I think you should just have to figure it out as you watch. Maybe a poll at the end where you vote. Oh, how cool would that be? If the TV series is like, if they're on, whatever the Nathan Fillion series is out where he plays a police officer. If he comes over and he's playing a blue coat and he's playing the same character, but dressed for the role, same mannerisms, acts like him, just looks like he fits in the time. That would be awesome. And at the end, you vote, you know, who it is, which one of his characters. Is it Mal? Is it whatever? That'd be kind of cool. Keep things simple. We can imagine that Arcrosian is akin to one of the common languages of Earth, whichever best language suits your other world. So, like, if you're a group of players who are in Rookie, thank you. If you're a group of players who are in Japan and you want it to be Japanese, if you're group of people who are in France and you want it to be French, or and you're Canada and you want French as well, you just make that native tongue the same as your table's, you know, home language. Super fucking cool. Unless you're one of those special groups who have multiple languages at your table and you speak in all of them, I envy you. That's a real skill, man. I can't speak another language very well. I understand a little bit of some languages, but I don't speak anything fluently at all. If one of you do, you guys are lucky. So, opportunities. The following pages describe opportunities that arise as a result of the catalyst organized by a crew type. Cool. Several of them interconnected, influencing others. Cool. I love that. I think that's super smart. New assassins. I mean, there's going to be assassins because of what's going on, everybody. New scores. Oh, this is awesome. So scores are your missions, your jobs, your tasks, the things you're going to do. They have some new ones. Assault, deception, stealth for different areas. Katie is more fluent than you in what? thought they were pretty interchangeable. Flare. Oh, maybe. Yeah. I see. Flare or flare. Now, I don't know if they are interchangeable. I'd have to look that up. Fallout, if you're working for those groups. I like this. He's giving you clocks. This is new. Maybe in some of his adventures he's done this, but this is great. Seeing that there's clocks for how it works. This, again, is the tracking. Lord Strangford is displeased with your work and sells you out or frames you. You take the fall, that's 4. Rowan House Security tracks Lynthia, or Lynthia. Sorry, that's a little throwing my own flavor in with Lynthia. To her location. Lynthia fades to the ghost field. Awesome. Deathseeker crows are drawn to Lynthia. Cool, so they have all these clocks for it. Bravos is one of the crews that you can play. There's a whole bunch of stuff for Bravos. Fallout, if you do it. There's the Cult, all the things you do. So this is giving you new scores for every single one of your crew lists. Working with this background, this thing that is going on, the fraction. That's pretty fucking cool. Nice one-shot sheet. You can just print the sheet, set it at the table for yourself. Maybe two pages, sorry. 2 pages. So front and back one sheet. And then we got to 2, which is systems. There are new systems that are in effect. What do we have here? Oh, we color-coded these. What is color-coded? Let's see here. I like... How did he do this? So harm... This is how you take damage in the original game. Is harm and trauma. And he said he made a new way to make it more flexible. Yeah. This module makes harm more flexible and impactful and provides a new way to earn XP. When your character suffers harm, record it on your playbook. So, harm levels are 1 to 4. Temporary condition of negative effect that goes away naturally over time that doesn't require a treatment. I'm looking at my notes that I have. I have a book open, my sheets here. So the old version used to have it to where you just took X amount and you would check the sheet. Actually, hold on. We can look at it here. So when you take harm in the old one, do we have sheets down here that we can look at? I think we do. Yeah, so like a hull, right? For example. So when you take damage before, you had 2 levels of 1, 2 levels of 2, 1 level of 3. These are less effects, these are minus a die, and then these were need help. So in his new version, he has it to where it's a temporary condition. How would I do that, though? I wonder if that was... I wonder if that was on purpose. I wonder if he found that there was a problem with the 2 different levels causing issues. And those 2 different, like the 2 1s, 2 2s, 1 3, people weren't understanding it. And I wonder if he did these 4 levels instead to kind of make up for that style. Yeah, so let's go through these really quick. I think this is important. I do want to touch base on this. I think it's something I want to add. All right, well, let's see here. I'll just do it this way. Temporary condition, a negative effect that goes away naturally over time and doesn't require treatment for recovery. Bloodied, confused, distracted, intimidated, exposed, seduced, stunned, tired, terrified, and weakened. Lasting harm, serious injuries, ailments, impairments, beaten up, blasted, a broken arm, burned condition. So these are like things that happen and last a little bit longer. And then severe harm, major wounds that can incapacitate a character, threaten, become fatal, if not treated. Bleeding out, broken ribs, stab wound, poison, cracked skull. And then fatal, which is going to be the old 3-1. Mortal wound, instant death, depending on the situation. So that's pretty cool. So he's added all this stuff in to where you have a space in your playbook to record 2 instances of level 2 of harm, which is the old one, 1 instance of 3. If you suffer harm that has all instances filled, the harm advances to the next highest level severity. So 2 1s becomes 2, 2 2s becomes 3. You may have unlimited number of level 1 harm conditions, but if you suffer the same condition a second time, you bump it to level 2. Oh, I never realized that. So this kind of works like the Pathfinder conditions where they stack, or fear in D&D. So if you get tired, you take tired a second time, it'll bump up to exhausted. Okay, that's cool. I actually like that. Invoking harm, that's pretty cool. I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if he updated all the sheets at the end of this book. I know he said his website had all the new sheets, but I wonder if he's done 2 sheets for these, or if the old sheets still work. It sounds like the old one would still work. At least to me it would. The character sheets look like you could just add them here. Because if you take tired here, it would bump up to exhausted. I wonder if you erase the old one. Does he explain that you erase the old ones? I feel like it would. Playbook 2 instances level. I'm just trying to understand this so when I go to record the long version, I can hear it better. You know what I mean? Let me turn on my music in here just a touch for me. I'm assuming the music audio is fine for you guys, but it's really loud in here for me. There we go. That's better. All I could hear is the audio over all the other videos that I played today, and I couldn't hear anything else. So I just turned it down because I have them linked, so when I turn one up and down, it keeps the volume level appropriate for you all. But they're not too loud in here, right? The audio is good for you guys in here. It's not insanely loud. We're solid. All right. I'll let you let me know in chat. So harm levels are tied to specific mechanics, penalties instead. Harm may be invoked by the GM to impede the character, creating a problem. Yeah, this is something you just do when you're playing the game. This is normal. I think he's just cleaning up the verbiage from the book over to the deep cut rules. Tough it out. If you think the consequences from an evocation of harm is too punishing, or it's just something you don't want to deal with in the game, suggest an alternative implement and discuss with the GM. Yeah, so like, if something's really bad, a lot of times you talk to the GM and swap it. Like, I'm like, oh, you get shot in the arm. You're like, dude, I'm an artist. I don't want that for the scene. I need to be able to draw in the next scene coming up. You can say, well, okay, we'll do the ribs instead so your arm's still usable. It's just to keep the story moving without putting a hard stop on things. Like, getting shot in the face is a hard stop at harm level 4 if you want to come back and be healed. So that works pretty well. I like that he has it tough it out, just kind of explaining. And then you take a stress level of the harm. Oh, 1 stress per level of the harm. That's nice. So suggest alternative impediment, discuss the GM to tough it out, take 1 stress, so you can take stress damage instead. On the character sheet, if you go here, these blades across the top of the character sheet, here, these you would be taking a level harm. So if you take a level 2, under here, you would take two blades. You also use these to do a bunch of actions in the game and to push rolls and stuff. So that's a nice addition. I've had swap outs for that stuff too. If people are willing to take stress damage, it is easier to recoup stress. So I get it. I understand. Removing level 1 harm. Let's see here. Let's change this up a little bit. Scroll should be good. All right. Level 1 harm represents a negative condition. It can impede your character. Things like stunned, tired, bloodied. Some level 1 harm conditions might require an action to remove. For instance, if you're tired, you need to take some time to rest to remove the harm. If you're bloodied, you need to bandage your wounds because nobody wants a wound that is Gonna bleed all over the place. Other types of level 1 harm are removed when it makes sense in fiction. So if you're intimidated by Baz, which is a name that everyone uses, it's one of the main characters in the game. How long does that last? Obviously, when they walk away, the fear kind of dies out. So that's pretty cool. Level 1 harm conditions aren't meant to last forever, though. They're meant to invoke a couple of times, and then downtime, it goes away. Shit like that. Surviving fatal harm, this is something you have to worry about when you get damaged. A limp, a chronic pain loss, you may invoke a scar that impedes your character. And mark XP as if it was harm. Because you get XP in this game through desperate measures and desperate actions. On that sheet, they talk about that when you're in a desperate role. So here are some system changes. This sounds like this is in-your-face system changes. Special abilities, Vigorous becomes light hardened steel. Permanently fill one segment of your healing clock. When you fight unarmed, your body is a fine weapon, which is cool. Let's see here. What else do we have? Tough as nails, you gain a second space to record level 3 harm. When you suffer a mortal wound, you may mark 3 stress to stabilize and stay alive. And then crew, major changes, is anointed under crew. Choose a type of supernatural being, ghost, vampire, or demon. You now bear a ritual tattoo of warding against them. So there's just some system changes he put in, I think, just to clarify some things that players have had problems with. That's pretty cool. Let's I'm going to mark that for my recap here. That there is system changes. We're going to, let's go over to the PDF, take this off. We'll go over to this so you guys can see it. We're going to select both of these, copy paste. I'm going to line these things up here. This one can now go away because I don't need it because we have enough stuff fit. This is a system changes. I don't know if these are meant to be changed for everybody or system changes that you can do, but we have changed. What do we got here? Vigorous change, or special ability changes. Not a lot, just a couple. There's a few of them, so let's just type down there's a few special edition changes. A few special ability changes. And then we have some crew changes. Crew. Specifically anointed. Anointed gets you... What was it? A ritual tattoo? Did I say that right before? A tattoo of warding against a supernatural thing. Tattoo of warding against a supernatural type. I'm gonna change these all as well to being not that justified, but left justified, because these are information. And I like it a little better when it's easier to dictate the justification for those. So we have system changes. So that's cool. He added some core system changes to this. I thought he would do more, but that's pretty easy. Trauma. Trauma, if I remember correctly, if we go back over, I'm going to slide this. We go back over to the sheets. Whoop, fuck. Come on, stay in your spot. Trauma is this stuff here, where it's like clanking, leaking, fixated, smoking, sparking, because you're playing a hall. If you go down to like, what is the next one? A spark or a ghost? Let me see here. We'll go back up to the top where you can see other things like leech. So you got cold, haunted, obsessed, paranoid, reckless, soft, unstable, and vicious. Those are traumas that you can take as well. Anytime you take a trauma, you would mark one of these trauma blades. That happens anytime you stress out, and then you get a trauma. So he added those in. It looks like he's doing some changes here. This is one of those adaptable things you can add on. This model makes the immediate consequence of trauma less severe and provides a different way to earn XP. So this would be like, I don't know if any of you have played Marvel Heroics. Marvel Heroics had 3 different versions of experience. I thought it was genius. And they were like minor things, medium things, and major things. And those things allowed you to get access to XP. It's how you tiered up your superhero. So Wolverine, like the love triangle, was one of them. And I'm using him as an example because you should never play Wolverine. I stand by this. Same with Batman. No one wants a solo in their game. Play with your team. I've been talking trash about those 2 iconic characters forever. So that's pretty fun. Let's see here. What else do we got? Trauma. You need to mark stress, but let's see. You need to mark stress, but all your boxes mark. Gain a trauma condition for your character. Mark one of the trauma boxes, then remove all of your stress. That's normal. Circle a condition from the list on your playbook, like cold, haunted, or create one of your own. Describe your own character's trauma reaction and current circumstances based on condition that one would choose. You decide how intense the reaction is and if it causes a problem for your character. So his example here is during a brutal melee combat. Sorry, during a brutal melee with the red sashes, Sean's character, or Sheen, RC Steel overflows her stress track and takes trauma cold. They describe RC's reactions in the moment rather than helping an injured ally, Bazo Baz, on the Lamp Blacks, which is one of the organizations. RC leaves him behind to his fate in the hands of the enemy. You're not my problem anymore, and she walks away. So that's cool. You get like a trauma in the moment, how you handle it. Then you circle it. I wonder how long that condition lasts. Invoking a trauma afterwards. Each of your character's trauma conditions can be invoked once per session. So this is like Bonsai Deals and Flaws, which a lot of people don't know. You can invoke those and then you can get an inspiration in 5e. This is similar, except you're invoking them to get an experience. It's pretty cool. Retirement and recovery. When you mark your 4th trauma box, your character retires, which is normal. We all like when you can retire in it. Let's see here. Do they do anything special? You mark your 4th box of trauma, your character retires. They no longer have what it takes to live the life of a scoundrel. Before that, you may be able to recover from trauma, work with a GM to create a long-term project or another method. So this is basically just trauma. This is just trauma. Load. Load is weight in this game. So every character can only carry so many boxes. If you look at a character sheet, we scroll over here. You have 2 different versions. If we scroll down, where's it at here? Here it is. So you got light, normal, heavy. It is 3, 5, or 6 boxes. That's how many you can click. You pick your gear as you use it, because the assumption in Blades in the Dark is you don't know what your character would do because you're not fucking that character. And you got to be able to think in the moment. So you're not going to have burglary gear when all of a sudden it changes to that. This just lets you say, oh yeah, that's what I have on me. It's what players have been doing for ages anyway when they don't look at their character sheet. Like, yeah, I have chalk. This is basically saying, yeah, I have chalk. Click. No, really, look, I checked it. That's how this works. It's the same shit players have been doing for decades, but now it's part of the fucking game. In this one, this model changes how items are chosen before and during the score. Before the score, you choose the plan for operation. Also choose your character's loadout style, conspicuous or discreet. Conspicuous, you have 6 boxes of items available. You may bring heavy items and any item that requires 2 more boxes of load. But you must choose and mark heavy items before the score. Basically, you're not bringing, like, let's go back to that character. You're not bringing demolition tools unless you say beforehand, I'm bringing demolition tools. And that's what that's for. So you can, like, pick in advance, and your GM's like, look, dude, you can't have demolition. How the fuck did you get in here with demolition tools on you? Well, you went with the conspicuous version. Discreet, you have 4 boxes of items available. You may not bring any heavy items. You don't have to choose any items before. So basically, conspicuous, choose heavies. Everything else is open, and then the other one you don't. That's kind of cool. I think I would use this for, like, if you were doing a ball or a pageant, or like if you were going to like if the Imperials were going to be on platform talking about something and you're going through a checkpoint, maybe I would do that version so that conspicuous, you're going to have to smuggle in demolition charges, a 2-handed sword, you know, shit like that. I like that. Adding load during the score. If your scoundrel picks something up during a score, you count it as a marked box, or a load box. If you mark a 5th box, your character becomes conspicuous. Oh, that's cool. So there's been a lot of discussions in Blades in the Dark Why can't I get things during a score? How do I keep things during a score? It wasn't clear because it kind of expected the GM or the storyteller to just fucking figure it out, man. And this one, they're basically saying that when you mark your 5th box, you become conspicuous because you're carrying a lot of gear. And then you're no longer discreet. If you mark a 7th box, your character becomes encumbered and can no longer climb, run, or swim unless they drop enough items to go below a 7. And 9 boxes, you can't do anything. You can't carry any more than 9. So if you're robbing a place fucking blind, stealing everything that isn't nailed down, 9 is your limit to where you can't do anything. So that's kind of nice that they added a really brief rule in here for people. I'm going to add that to our PDF that we're making here. I like the idea that they've done this. I'm going to copy these. We're going to cut it, paste it, move it down. I'm going to line it up so it's the same as the other one. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Lined. Move it and boop. And then this is going to be load changes. Load changes. I like this new version. So we're just going to put new rule. And this is going to be, what was it? Conspicuous or discrete. Discrete and ways to add them. If I could type today. Let's see. Conspicuous. Please change it. There we go. I might add a GM section note to this. I might like do a little arrow down and put a GM note down here. I'm going to delete this. We don't need it. I'm going to move this motorcycle over because it's fucking dope, but we're just going to keep it here. I want it as part of it. I think that would be kind of cool. System changes as whole. Anything else new? Is there anything else new that we should add from this section? I think that's good. Adding load during the score. Oh, yeah, I should probably mark that. Let's see here. Also, great rules about increasing load during a score. Score and load are terms that are specific to Blades in the Dark mechanics. So I'm going to italicize them just to remind people that that's what they fucking are. You'll be able to see that when we go over to the final. So the next thing they have is system changes again. So it looks like under each bold category, we had earlier load and system changes. Down here, we have load and system changes. And he's talking about system changes. Crew, rigging carries 2 free load of a particular class item, including a heavy item, while your load is discrete if you wish. Boom. So this is important because each crew is known for certain things. I also need some more music. Sounds like my music quit over here. Let's see. What do we have that he's added? He's got so much good stuff. We'll do ominous horror. That seems right. So this is cool. He added this. Special abilities. So I think really what I want to talk about is system changes. There's this. I'm going to move these down. All right. Let me add this. Let me go. We're going to copy and paste. And then I'm going to do a little special piece here. I want this to say every new section has system changes at the end. At the end of the would it be category? End of the category? End of the section. End of the section. We're going to unbold this because I don't want this to be bold. Right? We don't want this to be bold. And we want it to be italicized. We are going to center. And then I'm going to put quote around this just so people know that I'm kind of drawing this out. We'll put a color to it as well. And we're going to highlight it. I think what I want to do for this, let me show what I'm doing here. I think what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to add, if we go into our brand, I'm going to make this our color. So if I go here, you'll see that there's all the colors that are part of my background, but there's also the corpse talk colors. So I'm going to make this the white color. Now you're not going to be able to see it. I'm aware. We're going to add a drop shadow. but I'm going to do it this way. We're going to do a creepy shadow. Graphics. Let's see if they just have it. Creepy drop shadow, maybe? I just want to see if they have like a dripping drop shadow that I can add. Let's try one more time. Is there any dripping drop shadows? No. Let's just do dripping drop shadows. Ooh, these are good. These are good. I like these. Let's do... That looks like dripping shit. I refuse to use that. I know it's supposed to be chocolate, but... Ooh, this is... Can I change the colors of this? Damn, I can't. I thought I could change the colors of it. That would have been dope. I like this one. This is probably the best. It fits. And then I can change the colors of this. So let's move this over. And let's go like this. And then I'm going to see if I can change it by editing it. Usually you can do a color adjust. Yeah, you can. Oh, yeah, you can't see it well enough, though. I like it. I'd have to saturate it. Nah, it's not going to work. I was hoping I could make this look good with like a textured one, but it just doesn't work. We'll delete it, and I'll just add a normal drop shadow to this instead. So go here. We'll go to edit, effects. We'll do, what do we want to do? We could outline it. We can do a background. Let's just do a background for it. And we'll just change this to make it semi-transparent. And we'll do a spread. I wish you could shape it. And I'm not a fan of that look either. I feel like it's too, I don't know. There's just something about when it outlines like that. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather have maybe splice. See what happens if I do splice in black. And thickness. No. Outline. I've always done outline, but that's boring. Let's just do a regular drop shadow. Hype up the transparency. Do this in black. Actually, ooh. What if I do it in pink? Offset. Transparency. Blur. It seems like it might be doable. It's a little hard to read. What if I glitch it? No. Echo? Let's try echo in pink. Echo in pink, it's not bad. Offset it. Then I probably will have to bold this thing. It's still hard to read. Let's just do black. Yeah. Nah. I like this. I don't know what I'm going to do for it. I'm just going to put a shadow behind it and call it a day. Let's see here. We'll do this. That works. That'll work. Clean enough for now. I'll blur the edge later, or I'll take it off the screen. Like, see how I have this? I want it to kind of be a little more blurred on the edge, but they don't... For some reason, they don't put the blur there. Wouldn't you think they would have a blur version of that? Maybe this one? Oh, there we go. That's better. It's not... It's square. This one? Once you have these in place, too, the cool thing is you don't have to fuck around with it anymore. And you just have it. And it's just done. Ready to go. That's a little better. That's... I just wish this edge was blurred and I would use that in a heartbeat. It's just not. Oh. Well, we'll use that for now. I'll come back and fuck with this later. What I wish is this was a little shorter like that, but I don't like how it edges it. And when it edges like that, it looks like you sampled the piece wrong and used it wrong. Maybe this? Let's move this. Let's flip this. I think I got something. That's cool. That's cool. So if I do that... There. I kind of like that. That's clean. It works for me. Now we can slide this back up along with these and continue our breakdown. So I just wanted people to know every section has it. So I don't have to repeat it every time. Right? And then what it is so people know. So let's go back to the book. So we have new rules for advancement in the game. We're near the end of this book. We're on page 78 of 118. He has advancement clocks. This model shows the overall rate of a player character and crew advancement. So let's do this. Advancement clocks, instead of using current XP trackers on your playbook, draw a set of 6 segment advancement clocks. Do the same on the crew sheet whenever you would mark an XP. Tick an advancement clock instead of what? Click an advancement. Do the same on the crew sheet whenever you would mark XP. Tick an advancement clock instead. Oh, okay. So to acquire an advancement, fill the number of advancement clocks in detail when you gain advancement. Clear those clocks. If all of your clocks have been filled and you need to mark XP, just make an additional clock to track and an extra XP isn't lost. So he's got this new special ability. So you got 2, 3, and 1, and then an action dot from 1 to 4. To add an action dot or an attribute dot, you need a number of filled advancement clocks equal to the new rating. In an example at the right, a player adds a dot to prowl with each rating of 2. Cost 2 adventure. Okay, so basically you're making clocks to do advancements to your pips underneath your skills and your abilities. So that's kind of nice. So instead of spending XP, you're actually filling clocks to slow grow. I feel like this would let you make your adventures and sessions in game last longer instead of just, playing like 6 games and it all being over. But you don't want that. You want a high action kind of game, but you don't want your characters to tank and die immediately because the action's too high. You don't want them to spend it all in one shot. You want them to be able to come back and keep playing their characters. So you need to be able to dial in a slower advancement instead of just having it at max the entire time. That's my opinion, at least. I think that's kind of why he's doing this, to have a different version of downtime modules and advancement. That's cool. That's a great addition. I think this is fun. I hope he adds this to the character sheet, or there's like a printout you can get that goes maybe like a sideboard. So again, if we look at the character sheets here for Blades in the Dark, you have all these. It'd be cool if there was like a sideboard that went like along over here, and you could add that to it. I think that would be really cool. I don't know if that's something he's thinking about doing, or if there's something out for it. That's something, though, that I would tell my players to do. Just tack it alongside of the things that you're increasing. Or if that section got a little larger and each one of these circles was big enough that you could track it yourself in there by just checking it as you go through. That'd be kind of cool too. Easy to do with a form fill. So we get the downtime, one of my favorite things. This downtime in Blades changed how I run downtimes in other games, where basically you set up what you want to do and you fill a clock to complete your downtime. And he's done a really good job of that. So now there's a new model. This model takes downtime activities diceless and changes several details on how they work. So normally things like recovering your, what is it called? Recovering your stress, damage, like your harm, stuff like that, was something you had to roll for. So it was pretty fun. But now he's making it to where it sounds like it's a little different. So Fallout, the GM assesses the fallout of the score in the form of faction status, changes the amount of heat gained. Adjust the crew's status of the factions affected by the score. I thought that's how it worked last time. Or no, it was clocks. It was clocks. So now he's just having a helping the faction, not helping the faction, hurting them, and it's a sliding scale. Okay, that's cool. Assess base heat, plus any additional heat from events on the score, and then the heat, like witnesses, is bad. Witnesses means someone saw you doing the thing you shouldn't be doing, which is great. Because it happens all the time in this game. Payoff, determine the payoff from the score. Rep gain, any additional things to seize assets. Awesome. Tithe. Entanglements has got a new section. This is really deep. This would take a little bit of time to understand, but I think is worth a deeper read off air. And maybe I'll go through and make a video on how to use this. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe, or when I actually, you know what? The next time I run Blades in the Dark, I will come back and retouch this. Let me write a note here. Visit expanded rules when I come back and run the game. I may come back and run Blades in the Dark this coming year, like in the first part of the year. There's a good chance that's going to be the one I come back to. Cohorts don't cost coins. They cost 2 crew advancements. Awesome, because in the old one, if you wanted cohorts, if you went underneath the different crews, let me go to a crew here. I think I passed it. Where's the crews? Shadows. There are cohorts that you could get under here, and you would add them. You can see them here at the bottom. And they're weak, impaired, broken, armor, like whatever it is, gang, or if they're an expert. Now, instead of them costing you advancement, it sounds like it costs you moolah. Don't cost coin, they cost crew advances instead. Oh, okay. Well, maybe either or. Tier advancement. Increased faction statuses. Heat and hold. What is this? Finally, in the crew phase, assess your heat and hold tier. Reduce heat, assess hold. Assess. Words are hard today. Assess hold. Your crew hold on the tier is measured by the number of turf claims to have a strong hold. Okay, so this is the map. So when you are playing a crew, you have this chart, and your layer in the center is the piece that you are starting in, and you gain different access that are attached by the lines, and then you can only go to ones that are attached. So layer to turf here you can do, and then turf to gambling you can do, but you could not go from loyal fence here to gambling. Those don't connect. They're unobstructed, or sorry, unconnected. And then you mark them and you determine how strong your hold is up here. So in the new version, you can assess your hold as part of the heat and hold phase. That's pretty good. I like that. I like that. Let's see here. I think that works. I'm making notes on the cheat sheet here. So scoundrel phase. So now they have different phases based on what you're doing. These are great. Activities, acquiring, supply clocks, recovering, hospital, important, training, work. And then again, they have system changes under this. So what are the system changes to these? Connected, functioning. Let's see if this changes it. There we go. Connection, functioning vice, vigorous vice, psychicer, and cruise. That's pretty wild that they've added all of this in for new things that you can do to add to this game. This game already had a shit ton of options. All right, so we have actions. I think this is one of the last categories here. This is an overhaul on the action system in the game. I feel like they wanted to overhaul this because there was some complexity in here that people weren't understanding, or he wants to give new options just to make it fun. So it says here, this model overhauls the action system of the game to make it faster, more flexible by introducing threat roll, which replaces an action roll, as well as modifying Devil's Bargains. You all know the Devil's Bargain I bring to all my games. Resistance, gathering information, and teamwork. Ooh, we're hitting near my time limit here. I'm going to need to record my thing here quick. Overview. So overview for the threat roll. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Let me see if this person... I still got a little bit of time here still. I don't think I could yet. Let's see. Create role. So overview. The threat role is an evolution. I have a little bit more time. Evolution of common and risky and standard action roles. You make a threat roll. The GM describes bad consequences. So now you're doing threat instead of action. And I think this is what John was talking about in that video and what he's added. I think this is the piece that they're adding. That's kind of nice. I like the two options. I may even switch it and say this is a threat scene versus an action scene. I think that's a way that maybe I would invoke the threat roll instead of just saying action. But really, that's up to you. And that's up to the GMs at the table, if GM and I should say storyteller and the players at the table, if they want to use either or. So if you need it, do it. If you don't. But I like that this is an option to maybe set scenes a little better, which is like success, pearl, and threat versus the risk, or sorry, what is it? Controlled, risky, desperate. And that's what this is. Let's see here. I like that. I think that's a fun way to do that. He talks about establishing threat. You can go watch that video we watched earlier. You can push yourself if you need to, which is nice. That basically is adding successes, reduce consequence, gaining edge, special cases, position. This is all a lot of extra. God damn it, John. So much stuff in here. And now we're into like the gondolas, which I love gondolas. You know, they're all over Moldavia right now. Let me just turn that. Effects and consequences. Effects and consequences are categorized into 4 levels of impact: limited, standard, great, extreme, and harm levels. For example, or easy way to show the concept. I like that. And then he's made a table for it. Effect and consequence examples: limited, standard, great, and extreme. Well, that's cool that he's gave you a table. I would print this and put this in the front of my book. That's what I would do. I'm just thinking about how I would add this to the doc that I'm making right now. Let me go over real quick to the Chrome. I want to look at something. I'm going to delete this. We don't need it. I'm going to cut these. Cut, paste. I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to move him down. Maybe make it small down here. Like so. And then we're going to stretch this all the way across to match this. And then we'll stretch this all the way across to match this. And then we're going to center this. And then I'm going to say, afterthoughts maybe? I love the idea. I would say print this. So I think you need to print the, where's it at here? Print the effect and consequence table. I'm just looking up the name on the other screen. Effect and is it called consequence? Is that what he named it? Consequence samples table. Let me cut this really quick. Because I think that this is needed. Oh shit. Why did that not do that? Oh, I highlighted it. That's why. Let's go like that. There we go. Examples from page. I want to give page number. I think it helps. 97. Page 97. I think this is important. I think this is something I would print out of this book so far. Maybe over almost anything else. Because I think it's the most important piece. That is a printout. And then I would print maybe Devil's Bargain on the next page as well. Print these is what I'm going to put here because I think it's going to be more than one. And then Devil's Bargain. Page. Bargain page. I think it's just the next page. 98. Let's also put these as PG. And make sure you ask your GM or storyteller before you do this. But no, don't just do this on your own. You don't want to just use these without asking your GM if it's okay. If you do that, you're going to cause a problem at the table. So make sure you're asking. So no, don't start with them. Your GM will let you know if it's okay, or talk to them about it maybe beforehand. So that's pretty cool that they've added that. Let's go back to this. The PDF is here. PDF's here. Good. What else did they add? Devil is watching. This is a new Devil's Bargain. That's cool. New rules for gather information. Gather information. That's pretty good. Let's see. What did they add? So before you had 2 legwork actions for gathering informations. Is there anything else that's added? Nope. Offer, Devil's Bargain, cost, threat. That's pretty good. Let's set that. I might add the Devil's Bargain extra options to this. There's cost of Devil's Bargain. Ooh, this is nice. Cost. Offer a Devil's Bargain with a cost when they can simply get the information for a price. Coin, heat, stress, ticking a clock. And that's another way that you can do it instead of it just being whatever I'm telling you the bad thing is as a storyteller. That's pretty cool. I like that. I think that's a great way to add that in. Did that highlight it? It did. Let me click the highlighting here. Let's see here. So, upgrade that. I'm making more notes on my desk for things to review later. And then they got leads, long-term projects, teamwork options that you've added. I've noticed that everything in color is new things, like really important things. He has system changes here as well. Crews, threats of Duskfall. This is cool that he's added threats into the game. I think that's awesome. And their names you can cross off. So you printed these, you could just slash them off as you use them or as they die in your canon. And then there's playbook changes. He had a whole section on playbook changes. All the revised and updated special abilities are collected here. New sheets are available. He needs to put the playbook URL in. He hasn't done that. So maybe he's coming back to do hyperlinks in the URL. He might be doing that. That's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to, afterthoughts, I'm going to also talk about the playbook changes. This is important. So let's chrome it up here again and look at this. We're going to bold it. Playbook. Oops, let me do this. Playbook changes. I think these are important. These all start on page, what is this? 108. All right. That's important. I think that needs to be noted here for people. Let me pull the PDF back up. So Hound, Leech, Lurk. I'm curious to see if he gives them to Ghost and Vampires and stuff like that as well. See ya, Star Drew! Enjoy your dinner. I'm going to record my 10-minute thing right after this, so we're good. Assassins, Bravos, Cult, Hawkers, Shadows, Smugglers. They did. Hall and Ghost, they get new ones as well. Let's see here. Vampire's got a ton of new ones. Ton of new ones. Look at this. Vampire Overintelligence, reactions, modified traits, undead, arcane senses. That's a lot. And then, like John always seems to do, I shouldn't say all, in most of his stuff, he's got designer's notes, which are like innovations. I like to introduce industrial age innovations into my home game, so I wanted to include some of these. I think I do the same thing when I'm running this. Harm, and watching a lot of Blade's actual plays, I noticed that some players and GMs simply, they forget to apply harm penalties. I added a house rule. I think that's pretty cool that they did that as well. Cool that he's giving people the okay to ask a GM to change things up, because people forget how the harm penalties work, and the fact that there's a new version is really smart. I love that there's the new trauma. I love that they've added new load, which gives players permission to be creative with how they're bringing their stuff in, but not break the rules. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, good. Your GM can give you the okay. That's pretty awesome. Anywhere else that there's some new things in here? Advancement. Let's see here. Downtime. Action. The threat roll. So what's this? Action. Lots of stuff changed in the action system as we tweaked and modified it for my Blades games over the years. Some rough edges are smoothed down, in my opinion, anyway, to speed up play and reduce frustrating interactions. I hope they help your games as well. Awesome that they added this. The threat roll is huge. This is actually a really good way to handle this kind of stuff. So these are all his after design notes. I'll let you read these on your own. I think these are great. So I'm going to scroll back up to this 118-page doc. We are going to do a quick recording of this, so I have a record of it. Let me set this up. So let's do, how do I want to record this? Did I add, let's go over to here. I need to see if I added my ad screen. Did I add it? I did not. Okay, so I need to add this really quick. That's the old one. So let's go to studio mode. Let me add this. I did make one for this, and I did not play it before the show, which thankfully I didn't, because it wouldn't have been the right thing. Let's see. Where is the ad screen at? Do I not have? Where did I put this at? Add. Usually I can find this. Stream episode, that's where it is. So let me add my new stream episode. Delete this one, add the new one. And then where's it at? This is the new one. I like this one. I've been doing a lot of fun stuff in thumbnails, because just trying new things. So this is the new one. We're going to set up to record. So this is the new Blades in the Dark options deep cut streaming live, right? So let me record this. I'm going to set up the recording. Start recording. I'm going to quickly go through this. I'm going to set my timer here to, I have this one I use for Shadow Dark here. I use this for everything. So I'm going to start this timer. We're going to aim for 10, and that'll be the end of our show. I think I can do this. Maybe one take. Let me get a little drink of water here, everybody. Let me reset this. 3, 2, and let me hit record. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Today we're here to talk about deep cuts. If you were here for the live show, you've seen it all, but I wanted to be able to do a quick recap for anybody who wants to just watch a 10-minute, and then down below there'll be a link where you can go watch the full stream. Deep Cuts is an add-on to Blades in the Dark, and if you don't know, Blades in the Dark is one of my favorite systems, so much so that I think I have 3 copies of the book for cons, and then I have 1 copy next to me, and you can see all the bookmarks in it. I've ran this game so many times. And Deep Cuts is the thing that I feel like I was waiting for, and it's been a while. John has watched a lot of actual plays. He has got a TV series in the works, or so we're hoping right now. And then he's also obviously ran a bunch of his own. So today, the Deep Cuts are all the things from his home games, the things that he's ran. And honestly, I think what he's learned from watching streams. So let's dive over to the table. Let's do a quick dive through of the actual layout. And we're going to also peruse through the 118 pages of Blades in the Dark, Deep Cuts. I'm pretty excited. This is really good. So as we go through the deep cuts piece, there is something I wanted to showcase. I did make a section in my Canva to write down notes for this, that after I finish reading this and fill it out, I will put it in the comment section, or not comment, I apologize, in the community section on YouTube. This will be a section that you can kind of grab what you should look through, what is important. It's going to look like this so you know what to look for. It's the bright pink and white colors you can find. It's going to be my deep cut recap on what you can get out of it. Now, before we really read into this, let's actually scroll through the PDF. The PDF has a ton in it. The hyperlinks are not in my copy, but after reading through it, I have a feeling that they're going to get added to the book. There's some names in here you'll notice that we're kind of helping out or special thanks to by John. The overview is here, and this is probably the thing I want to bullet point the fastest. There are 13 new innovations, 27 factions, including 15 that are in the original Blades. There's 100 heritages and backgrounds with new ways to use them, basically to change your position or change how much effort is in it, how well you do, if it makes sense. There's a catalyst, which is great. It's a new piece that gets added to the game to allow you to include things maybe from your home game or other games, or maybe a TV show that you've watched, and bring into Blades in the Dark. After that, the second section is a collection of 6 systems, modified advancement, revised harm and trauma, which is a little complex when you first read it, but I think through use it'll be easier. A diceless downtime, and a new action system. Earlier in the show, we did a review, or I should say a look at John talking about the conversation that should happen between players and a GM or storyteller at the table. And I feel like we're seeing a lot of that put into action here. So here's all your sections, part 1, part 2, and what's involved. Classic Blades, which I love. I mean, it is up there thanks to 88 Riddles making the boxes. So innovations. It's a bunch of new gear. Arc Lighter, which has got add-ons like Glimmer. There's a percussion slug gun, which is a shotgun that's sawed off. There's a plasmographic camera that's added. John even gave us some art so we knew what we were looking at for this. And the arc thing is dope. It's 3 versions you can add on that's basically like a lighter, or it can be a lamp, which is a fun little piece, and it's kind of bulky. It fits the piece. And then the Slugger pistol, which is just a sawed-off, amazing handgun. There is a new calendar that he talked about with the age or era of Unity coming through. I don't want to spoil that too much, but let's just say the lands to the east on the map are now being taken over and something is happening. You can see that in the new piece that gets added in between Bright Sky, Ember Spring, Crucible, Tribute, Bastion, and Starfall. Feel free to read these on your own. You can find it in the link down below at DriveThruRPG to download this. The Bolton Auto Cycle. I love that he added a motorcycle to the game. There's a lightning thrower. We got a monitor sphere. This is basically a camera that can record things through the Ghost Sphere, but it even ties into the story some. It fucks with other things that uses the Ghost Sphere. It's not easy to use. Of course, we got the Hockney 3-wheel steam car. During the show, I didn't realize it was 3-wheel until somebody said that it's a 3-wheel. I love this. I think it's a great addition. It's expensive. It's 20 coin. Super cool. Vehicles are not mass produced. I think that's something awesome that they did this private purchase. New restricted technology. This is your repeating coil guns. There is new airships that are here because of the Imperium, and he even labels that there's 16 of them, giving a number so you can name them and have fun with them. And there's a reason that they're here, and I don't want to ruin it, but the whole idea of this Sovereign and Divinity being the first two, or sorry, Sovereign and Dominion being the first two, being super important. But these Imperial airships are something that you'll see. There's even art for them later. He added new factions, and John added color to the book. Whenever you see this orange diamond, players should know, don't read this, you're going to ruin it for yourself. A whole bunch of new faction stuff. One of the airships is a sample. Pretty cool. There's new factions that you can find. They all have the clock, the faction clock, and some of them have situations that they're in that are important. Like I said, this is the original map. All the new stuff for Unity is happening along the east side. And then you'll notice that, there's the barrier. And the only one that was originally left was this old rich colony that got taken over. So a whole bunch of stuff happening with that. Read about it. It's cool. It's a nice addition. But I will say the deep cuts don't have to be used in totality. You can just kind of pick and choose what you want. If you don't want to do the Age of Unity, but you like the new rules, it's your fucking table, everybody. It's your table. So we're going to continue scrolling through all these. I don't really want people to see too much of the factions. So I'm going to fast scroll through this. I will say, in this one, there's a group of Spark Runners. You can join them. If you have a +2 faction bonus, it takes 2 squares and you get a Spark Runner rig. You can run on the air using like Ghost Area and Ectoplasm. Really fun set piece or item for the game. Something to think about when you're running yours. So let me scroll back through all these and let's get into the next part. Halls have gotten an upgrade. There's some new stuff for them. Same for the ghosts. Same for the vampires. Cool to see some actual artwork for the halls. I don't think I've ever seen one before. They got like a 1920s, late 1800s style for it. It's pretty awesome. What else do we have? Let me scroll through here. Oh. Bleak knots? I mean, void divers? John and I have apparently been thinking about the same things in our games, and diving down into his void, or in mine, the Dark Tides, is something that he thinks is pretty sweet. I can't argue with him. New map for Duskfall with new markers for everything that's going on with the Underworld Turfs. So right now we're at 35 of 118. Heritages. Without going through every single one of these, what I want to tell you is there are a ton of them. There are 100 of them. There are a ton of pieces that get added based on Deathlander, Exile, Nomad, Outlaw, Refugee, and Stranger for any region. And then you'll see he's broke them down by individual groups as well. Also some new Aruvian, I believe, art. But every one of the normal heritages have gotten a little bit more. Little art here for God knows what the fuck is going on. Severos, Tykeros, so on. And then you get into backgrounds. And this is the one I want to talk about the most. The cover background. We are playing a game where you are scoundrels and horrible people or criminals just trying to survive. And he's added the idea of being undercover. It is an 8-part clock that you have. And when that 8-part clock fills, your cover's blown. But you can use this to do things like push heat to your cover identity. But if someone is suspicious of your double life, you also have to fill a clock part. Really fun way to add a innovative background to your group. Like if they're all blue coats, but they're really working for the resistance, this would be really fun to do. If you're looking for more than just backgrounds in this, let's keep going, because man, he has given you a ton underneath each background. All of them. That guy's dead, by the way. And then this is the new thing he's added, which is the Catalyst, the other living world. In short, let me just explain this in a way that I think makes the most sense, so I don't have to read this whole thing to you. So basically, the living world is where the ghost area, the Veils, were like the academies and things like that, where they're all being studied. It's kind of fractured, and things have been coming through them. This idea of strangers coming through or people vanishing into them, called the Vanished. And he talks about how there are major characters that have been spawned out of this, what factions are doing with it. But the most important, he talks about the nature of the other world. Basically, the piece through the ghost sphere, the ghost veil, this tear, this fracture. He talks about it being whatever the fuck you want it to be for your canon. 1890s to 1920s Earth, creepy mirror universes, demonic world, time travelers, you name it. Look, this is a chance for you to bring maybe a game you already play and bring it over. Or maybe you have a favorite character, or maybe, just maybe, someone is joining your game for the first time and they want to bring somebody over to play. This allows them to do that. Such a cool concept. He talks about how the language should be whatever your home table language is and just carry it over as Acarosian. Lots of opportunities. And then we get into some new stuff for the crews. Each one gets a new score that they can do. And they also get the Fallout and NPC threats to those crews. If you don't know, crews are like the group thing that you're doing. Have it be your bravos kicking doors down or assassins murdering people, right? He's done one for each one. Even the cult, by the way, which the cult is still my favorite, and I've never had a group play a cult yet, like the full cult version. So if we flip through all these, you can see all the other ones he's added, and then we get into part 2. I think this is the real meat and potatoes of John realizing that his system was ready for a polish. Harm gets a new version. Instead of it being just really hard hitting, it's flexible and impactful, and a new way to earn XP, similar to Desperate. Invoking Harm, which is obviously every storyteller's favorite thing to do, right? We invoke, I'm kidding, that's not true. Invoking Harm is definitely something that is part of storytelling, and I think that the idea of having a little more player agency with it is great, which they've talked about how to do it, spending stress and taking instead of taking harm. What you'll notice in each one of these is that there is a system change. And he's added new things to crews. If you go to trauma and we scroll to the bottom of trauma, there is a system change for that kind of stuff. Recovery, retirement, load is probably the biggest change that he has, with the idea of being conspicuous or discreet based on 6 or 4 boxes. In short, conspicuous, you have to mark your heavy items. Discreet, you can't bring heavy items, but you still get to fill the other boxes out as you play. And then he's done some system changes like crew rigging, carry 2 free load a particular class item, including a heavy item with your load. I think that's pretty dope. Advancement, new rules for that. And they've really went through and broke down how to use clocks to advance your different abilities, your prowess, your finesse, your prowling, your everything. It's pretty awesome. So if you can see here, he's really went through and added all the things that he feels was needed for the game. I think that's awesome. I really, really think that he needed to do this to make people understand that you can add rules to the game to have fun. And he's done new entanglements and so on as you go through. And again, at the end of all these, you're going to find new ways to add rules to your game or changes to the core rules. They talk about the different phases, how Vice works, how everything gets a little bit of a change up. And I want to scroll down to what I think is maybe some of the best things here. He did heat changes, crew changes, but overall, and he's put a video out on this, how you handle actions in Blades in the Dark versus other TTRPGs. Read through this, go watch the video. I'll link it down below as well. It's like an 8-minute video where he breaks down the mindset you should have and the conversation at the table about, instead of it being every skill a role, it should be every scene or thing that you're building is a role. It's pretty cool, and not asking for a role, having being built in and your players understanding the chance of failure and what it is. It's pretty awesome. A little color in this book, which we haven't seen much of in his work, but I can see he's doing that to call out important things. There's new rules for pushing. You can see as well, gaining edge is important in this. You can, when you roll 1 or more 6, you gain an edge. It's kind of like a spark or luck that you can use later. We've seen that in Shadowrun, the newest one of Shadowrun. So that's pretty cool. He's added that as well. I want to scroll down a little bit more again. There is something else in here that I think that we should discuss. You don't have to add all of this on, but if there's something that I would add in print, it's got to be the effects and consequence examples. He's made a limited, standard, great, and extreme version, how ticks would work if you're battered, and how they kind of skill up. This should be printed and slammed in the front of your book, and part of your GM prep. You should have this in front of you and ready to go. Look how easy this is. I dry erase this or laminate it so I can circle the things that are happening and mark people's names alongside. That's just my tip from me to you, but I think it'd make a big difference in the game, and it helps you keep terminology, verbiage consistent. Devil's Bargain, new rules. We all know I love the Devil's Bargain. If you want to do X, you can get X, or if you want X to happen to you, you can now get another die. They've added on to this saying you can spend coin, lose an item, lose rep. Devil's Bargain's always good. It's fun. It grows character in a game is kind of how I see it. I bring it into everything I run. Of course, he's done things for teamwork and other pieces that have been added. And there's rules for using cover in the game and coordinating attacks now. And there are overall system changes starting on page 104. I recommend reading through those. A lot of those are polishing the old versions of systems. And then after that, he's got his designer notes. There's threats and stuff, but the designer notes are why he's added this to the game. And I think those are important, along with all the playbook changes he recommends. These are updated, and while it says playbook URL in the sheet here, you can download them. That's not working. There's no link yet, at least not in my copy. Maybe if I go and get the updated one. But if you go to his site, all of the playbooks have been updated. So this is an amazing 118 pages to add to your Blades in the Dark games called Deep Cuts. I highly recommend it. This is such a great addition. On top of this being a great addition to Blades in the Dark, I want to talk about, I'm going to be adding this page up to the community section in YouTube. I'm going to finish it out, things you should highlight and look at, and just kind of like, is this worth your time? And maybe I'll do a second page with a bunch of notes on things that I would add as well. Expect that to go up sometime maybe this week or next. I'm doing these for almost every show that I do. For the rest of you, if you have not been a part of the shows below, welcome. If you are watching this live, stick around. We'll be on for a few more minutes. If you're watching this after the fact, there's going to be things to click. We're trying to get to 500 so we can do a lot more on this channel. We have videos to watch. The library is over 300 videos of tips and tricks and actual plays. But on top of all those fucking wonderful things, we also have a Discord that you can come and join. I run Living ETHUANTIA. You can bring a character to life, play an ETHUANTIA Dragonbane with us, and have fun. Right now, I'm currently scheduling 3 days a week, and then probably going into New Year, it will go down to 2. Join us over at Discord. The link is down below. If you're in a live chat, you already know it's in the chat for you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Like always, watch, listen, learn. Be a better gamer. Go play some Blades in the Dark, and learn that D&D isn't the only game. All right, so that's the end of the recording, everybody. I hope you guys had fun on this show. I got to bounce. I went 3 minutes over. I have somebody in the wings waiting for me right now, and they are asking me if I'm ready to continue what we have to do. I hope you guys have a great day. I will be back again tomorrow and Friday with more information. Tomorrow, I think we're going to continue our Psy Night build and see if we can't finish it up. Have a great day, everybody. And I don't know, come join us in Discord and play some ETHUANTIA. There is a session tomorrow night. There's 1 slot filled. We need at least 3 to play. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.